It's easy to see why Miami is one of the hottest go-to destinations in the world. This place has it going on any time of the year, and it's a special spot for motor racing as well. For 18 years, Homestead-Miami Speedway crowned NASCAR champions. Today's not title day, but it still plays a pivotal role in the complexion of the playoffs. The heat is on, literally and figuratively. The pressure of the playoffs is real. NBC Sports welcomes you to the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Welcome. This is the Straight Talk 400. And Marty Snyder, as I just mentioned, this track has a long history with scoping and sculpting the championship picture. And that continues today, doesn't it, mate?
Yeah, Lee, in 2024, the next step in the championship journey comes right here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, a racetrack that is all about risk versus reward, because speed here is literally created right against the wall. The difference in running fast lap times at this track can literally be 2 inches. So the good news is you can find that extra speed. The bad news is if you get too close, you can easily make contact with a wall, and a season's worth of work can come to a very quick and unexpected end. So Dave Burns, how much are you willing to risk to give yourself a shot to win the championship?
Marty, from pole position, Tyler Reddick has control of this race, and his pit crew wants to keep it that way, including front tire. Houston Stamper from Mount Pleasant, North Carolina, 19 years in the business, has never won a Cup Series championship, thinks this may be the year. What does he tell himself? The calmer I am, the easier my job is. So he monitors his heart rate all race long. And if he forgets and it's too high, he says to himself, breathe. If only he could go to the beach like Kim Kuhn.
Ah, yes, Dave. The atmosphere at Homestead-Miami Speedway is one of the best on the circuit. Right in the middle of the track is a 20,000 square foot beach. Miami is a place where you can catch some rays, catch a fish maybe, but the one thing you don't want to catch if you're a driver is the fence. So today is going to be anything but relaxing for the playoff drivers as they try to avoid disaster running the wall. The heat of the playoffs, well, it's in full force here at Miami.
It's a good point, Kimmy. The heat, the pressure, it is real. Hi, folks. Welcome to Miami. Lee Diffie, Jeff Burton, Steve Letarte. Stevie, we are going to be talking a lot about points. It's the second race in the round of 8. Only one driver is locked in. That's Joey Logano. He's going to the championship 4. What do the folks at home need to know? What do they look for today?
Simple. A win and you advance. A win here, you're in the championship 4. The other thing to keep in mind, points are complicated, but if you have a great day and your opponent has an awful day, you might make up 35 points. That would be an unbelievable day. So Hamlin and Reddick still have a chance. When you look at Blaney and Elliott, while math says yes, reality says no. Those guys below the cut line have to have great days, if not wins.
It's good because it's go for it. It's go for it mentality, right? And that's what makes us want to watch. Jeff, you know the path to victory lane here. A lot of people, us included, will talk about ripping the fence, going up on that high line. Is that the path to victory lane, or are there others?
Well, some drivers are really good at this and others aren't. This is what some drivers really want to do, is be right on the wall. Look at that, inches away from it. Why are they that close? Because if you get that close, there's speed. The further away you get from it, the less grip you have. So the risk is hitting the wall and doing damage to your car. The reward is getting right there and finding speed in your race car and ultimately winning the race that way.
So keep that in mind today, folks, while we are watching. And let's have a look at today's starting grid, brought to you by Straight Talk. And on the pole, in fact, on the front row, playoff drivers, rows 1 and 2. Tyler Reddick was spectacular yesterday. That's his 9th career pole in Cup Series competition. And he's won all 9 at 9 different tracks. And he's rebounding from a really tough weekend in Las Vegas. That's exactly the medicine he needed.
We're going to talk a lot about playoff drivers, but we can also talk about some spoilers. Chase Briscoe in row 7. Unreal fast in practice. His teammate Noah Gragson in row 8. Another car that looked really good around the top of the racetrack.
See, Joey Logano has to go to the rear. William Byron, playoff guy, way back in the field.
And all the way back, let your eyes walk through the field. Austin Cindric. It was a tough day in qualifying for the Penske Fords, and Austin is way back there as well. So watch for those guys to work their way through the field. Marty, there are stories everywhere. We're getting spoiled here in the playoffs.
Yeah, including back in 20th. I talked to Jonathan Hassler, the crew chief for Ryan Blaney, and he said despite us qualifying that far back, they honestly feel like they have a top 5 car and could potentially contend for the win today. Blaney used the same stretch of races to push him towards the championship last year when he finished second at Miami and won Martinsville in back-to-back weeks. So Dave, could Blaney use these same 2 races to earn another shot at the title this year?
Marty, you see that teal-colored number 11 on the outside of row 2, which is great news for Denny Hamlin after last week at Vegas finishing 8th, but in his words, quote, the wheels came off, and he finds himself 27 points below the cut line. His crew chief Chris Gabart told me yesterday practice and qualifying went very well. There's Denny's car starting in 4th, and he said we made it even better. They are hopeful, Kim.
Well, playoff driver William Byron is on a hot streak of 4 straight top 4 finishes. So I asked crew chief Rudy Fugel what that says about the team. And he said, well, there are 4 spots for drivers in the championship race. So it shows we are a championship caliber team. They're going to have a little bit of an uphill battle, though, to start the race because William was too tight in qualifying, starts 25th, but the team was very happy with the car in practice and thinks they will be competing for the win later. But to do that, everybody's got to get through the pole sitter, Marty. That's Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, let's chat with his crew chief, Billy Scott. And when you and I talked yesterday, Billy, you told me, hey, we know what we have to do. We have to win one of these 2 races to have a shot at the title. So what's the confidence level that you can pull it off? And do you feel like it has to happen today here in Miami?
Well, we'll focus on today first because we're here, and yeah, yesterday couldn't have gone any better. So getting to start up front, having number 1 pit stall, and having the speed we had yesterday, it's our best chance to do it. So that's what we're focused on.
So let me ask you about that number 1 pit stall. How advantageous is this number 1 stall, and where will that help you during the race?
Yeah, especially under yellow. So just help us maintain control of it. We know how tough it is here to pass, and we know everybody we're racing is going to be up there all day battling with us. So take any advantage you can get.
Lee, you might notice there's an empty seat right behind Billy Scott. That's because that seat belongs to co-owner Michael Jordan, who's on the wall for the start of this race. He loves to sit and watch things happen as the field goes into turn 1 after the green flag.
Michael's passion and enthusiasm and support for his team and his drivers has been phenomenal of late. And look at him, fully engaged, fully pumped, ready to go to see if his man can race his way to victory lane and into the championship 4. Now, something a little special earlier today, Verizon Frontline is the advanced network and technology for first responders. That's why Verizon is recognizing the service and bravery of local first responders with an honorary lap, as I said earlier today. Taking the track are members of the Homestead Air Force Base, Baptist Health, Miami-Dade, PAL, Florida Power and Light, Homestead Police, Fire and EMT, Miami-Dade Police, Fire and EMT, American Medical Response, that's AMR. You always hear us talk about the AMR safety team, and the Florida Highway Patrol, and many more. That's a really special moment of significance. Working our way quietly towards the green flag, ready to go in this second round of the round of 8. Let's check in one more time with Marty.
Lee, when you mention this track at Homestead-Miami Speedway, people automatically think Kyle Larson is one of the favorites, and he is very aggressive and willing to push the envelope in that risk-reward category that we talked about by running right against the wall. In fact, earlier this weekend in the media center, Larson said, the best part about my style is I'm aggressive. The worst part about my driving style is that I'm aggressive. Can Larson keep it clean and have a nice race here at Miami and get another win and advance to the championship 4?
Marty, another reminder of the value of winning last week at Las Vegas. His team now has 3 weeks to prepare for the championship race in Phoenix, which he's now qualified for. And that came to a head yesterday when he had power steering issues in practice. They had to change that out. They had forced him to start in the rear, but it's a no-problem situation for them. They are playing with house money, if you want to use a cliche. They love racing here today, and Joey said, it's all in front of me now. Kim?
Well, Dave, minus 53 points. That's where Chase Elliott and this number 9 Hendrick team enter today's race, but the team is in no way discouraged. If anything, their points position is motivating and puts them in a great spot to take risks that other playoff teams cannot. Crew Chief Alan Gustafson told me they consider themselves to be in a must-win situation, and he said because they aren't necessarily chasing points, it keeps them from overthinking certain situations. They've got one goal today. It's find victory lane.
You may remember last week in Las Vegas, Ryan Blaney, the reigning Series Cup champion, followed his teammate Joey Logano home. He kind of shadowed him, protected him to the checkered flag. Well, today it's all about Blaney trying to race his way back through this field and into the championship 4. Can it be done? Let's listen to the pre-race pep talk.
All right, everybody, have a good day. Stroll here last year. Well, that last week bother you, just step up a little bit sooner. So I'll do the best I can for you out here. Try to keep the right side clean enough. You guys have a good day on pit road, so good luck, guys.
Yeah, I love that, what he said. I'm going to try to keep the right side clean enough. He's going to be against the wall at some point because that's where the speed can be found. You just don't want to hit it hard. Steve, these restarts are a great opportunity to get spots, but if you're not careful, you can pull some speed out of the car by going too hard too soon.
You can burn those tires up, and I keep hearing risk versus reward. I look at it totally different. We're at the point in the playoffs where it's time to earn a spot. Don't hope for one of your competitors to have an issue. Don't hope for things to come. This isn't a day for hope. This is a day for performance. You have to step up, be an all-star. Make it happen.
Pace car is off the track. It is a beautiful fall afternoon here in southern Florida. It's the Straight Talk 400, and it's time to bring the action here in Miami. Great start, Tyler Reddick. Left Larson behind, and Bell took full advantage of that. Now Larson responds. Look at that blue and white car up high. Reddick, Bell, Larson, Hamlin, and then Haley goes around. Lap 1 crash. Can everybody miss him? Justin Haley got his best qualifying of the year in the top 10 for his new team, Spire Motorsports, and he's gone around on the opening lap.
And amazing, I didn't see contact from any other cars once he started spinning.
We talked about restarts being an opportunity to gain spots. You have to be aggressive. Going down the back straightaway, the 7 on the outside, goes to the bottom, contact with the 47.
Great job, everybody else.
Great job. Watch this, he just turns down on Stenhouse. There was not an opening there. Just pushing the issue too hard, trying to get the bottom of the racetrack.
That's how I look at it. I don't know if the 7 thought his momentum was going to carry him past the 47, but the 47 had every right to stay in the gas in that lower lane. The 7 just really had to commit, but this is what happens at a racetrack where the grooves are very non-defined. You can enter low, exit high, enter high, exit low, and a miscommunication between 2 drivers sent the 7 spinning.
Now, the 7 car quite simply could have thought that Ricky Stenhouse in that 47 was going to turn left and go to the bottom of the racetrack, and he wasn't down there, or he just thought he was clear. Remember, this is only, he just started driving this car, his 4th race in this car. It could be a little bit different left side mirror situation. The camera, rear view camera could work separately, or differently rather, and a new spotter combination. So, but that right there to me is mostly on Haley, driver of the 7.
The view from Chase Elliott. Look up ahead to the right. This was extraordinary that everybody missed Haley, Steve.
Unbelievable. I can only imagine what Chase Elliott was thinking as that car turned sideways after the wreck a week ago, kind of stacked up off turn 4 with Truex and Reddick. Here he is, lap 1, turn 3, and the 7 is broadside in front of the 9. Nice job by the 48 as well, not running into his teammate. Right there. You know, it's easy to not get slowed down as much.
Good job, Chase Briscoe and Brad Keselowski.
And no obvious damage through the field. It'll be interesting to see if anybody has any contact, nose to tail, where they feel like they've done any damage to their race cars. Nothing jumps off the screen.
Let's have a listen to some radio from inside Justin Haley's Chili's Chevrolet. Here it is.
You need an adjustment? I just think I got clips on the line for you, my fault. Yeah, it's like it was going to be clear quick, and then he like squirted the entry, but he was still there a little bit. All good, man. We'll focus forward.
I like that. Crew Chief Ryan Sparks, I hear you. I don't stir the pot to say, yeah, he just wrecked you, because that's not how he started. I thought that was a very accurate description. You know, a little shaded towards your own driver. You don't want to take his, confidence away, but nice job of, hey, that's behind us. Let's move forward.
Nice job is apt for what everybody else did, avoiding the spinning Justin Haley on the opening lap here in Miami.
Under yellow, we mentioned stack-ups. Here it is, the 7 of Justin Haley spun around into turn 3, but look further back in the field. Look in this area right here. You're going to see an accident. The 42 gets damaged. We spin it forward a little bit more right here. The 21 of Harrison Burton also damaged. We'll have to see how those cars run for the rest of the race. Long racing left to go.
Let's take 2. See if we can get a flying lap in the books here. Tyler Reddick down low. Christopher Bell in that black and white Ream Toyota. Kyle Larson up high. And Martin Truex Jr. in the mix as well. Let's get through here, and we're already a step ahead. Let's build some racing rhythm here at Homestead-Miami Speedway.
Rhythm's the right word. That's the key to this place. Get positions early, settle in as Larson makes a big move and a big block by Reddick. That's a lot of aggression from lap 7.
Look at this, Christopher Bell comes down. Bell, who led 155 laps last weekend and was denied the victory. Truex on the inside of Larson. He's following his teammate from Joe Gibbs Racing into turn 3.
Well, you can feel the aggression already. Drivers know they got to get track position. They're willing to risk it early.
Here's Bubba Wallace in that red McDonald's car. The teal Mavis tire machine, the 11 of Denny Hamlin on the inside of Ricky Stenhouse.
Look at all the different lines. On restarts especially, you can run anywhere on this racetrack you choose.
Coca-Cola on board. Chase Elliott, let's go for a ride.
All good on exit.
Reddick is clear of these two fighting. Tell you what, look at the momentum that Bubba Wallace has got. That McDonald's 2311 Toyota Camry is on the move. He wants to get up front and join his teammate.
Christopher Bell slid up in front of Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson now trying to get back underneath him. Drives deep into the corner, going to stay on that white line. Try to carry momentum on the exit of the corner. Cannot do it.
Qualifying yesterday as Michael Jordan watches on. His 2 cars are in the top 4 positions. Qualifying was dominated by Toyotas and Chevrolets. Ford was nowhere to be seen, but there's a consensus in the garage area that if this goes long, Stevie, the Fords are looking pretty good.
Yeah, I thought Blaney for sure wouldn't fire off, but ran well in the long run. The question is, in every long run, Jeff, there's a short run, so you can't give up spots. You're going to have to protect early as we're on the right rear spoiler of the 5 of Larson, the HendrickCars.com cam.
See, he's running the bottom of the racetrack. That allows him good momentum in the middle of the corner, but then the 20 has good straightaway speed. Larson's going to drive underneath. Going to stay right on that white line, trying to use, there's grip down there right against that line. He never left it.
On board the Toyota view from Christopher Bell's Ream Camry. The winner from a year ago. In fact, you got the last 2 winners fighting it out here. Larson won the year before. Coming to this Straight Talk 400 this week, Tyler Reddick said, I love this track. I've had success here before, and I love going up high, right up against the fence. There's only one problem. There's another guy who's pretty good at it too. His name is Kyle Larson. And look where Larson goes, straight up to the boards. '23 of Bubba Wallace, he is looking, he is searching, and that car's got plenty of speed today. Marty, what you got?
You know, it's interesting, Lee, as Kyle Larson certainly known for running the top of the racetrack, as you mentioned. So is Tyler Reddick, who's in the lead right now. But, Steve, there's an art to running the top of the racetrack. There's also something drivers have to consider, and crew chiefs do as well, tire management. So is there one that's better than the other, Steve, if you want your driver to save a little bit of tire for the end of the run?
So the consensus in the garage is that the bottom or the middle wears the tires more. I could see the concept being the tighter radius and the higher entry speed. I haven't seen that. I've always seen just the grip capability of your car. If you could somehow stay just below the threshold, for me, Jeff, sliding a tire is what hurts the tires so much. Whatever lane you run, just find a way to stay just within the grip level.
Yeah, and look, the car setup has a lot to do with it as well, right? The better the car drives, the less stress you put on the tires.
These guys are going to have a visitor soon, and that visitor is the Napa Chevy of Chase Elliott. Let's go on board with Chase. Let's listen and see how this car is operating. The 2020 NASCAR Cup Series champion was in the mix last weekend in Vegas until that crash involving Martin Truex Jr. and this race leader, Tyler Reddick. He's never won here before, but he has finished runner-up. A win would do wonders for Chase Elliott's campaign today.
On the bottom right, you see the 24 of William Byron all the way back just outside the 14th position or 15th position, trying to work his way through traffic. On the bottom left, Ryan Blaney just outside the top 10. Nervous times for playoff drivers. You like to work your way through traffic. As you see on the top, the 9 of Elliott dives underneath Bubba Wallace.
Kim, what you got?
Yeah, as we look at William Byron, already up a number of spots in the 15th position after starting 25th. Now he moves up to the 14th position, and this team was not concerned at all about their race pace. In fact, Team Rudy Bugle told me they had excellent long run speed, so we need to keep an eye on Byron as this continues to run green. He didn't think they were going to break into the top 10 before the end of stage 1, but the pace they're at now, we could certainly see him earn stage points.
That's right there. William Byron got real aggressive, just slid up in front of Kyle Busch. Now he's on this outside lane. He's going to be right against the fence. This is what we talked about before the race. The willingness to be inches from the wall. Watch the speed down the straightaway.
And look at the 8 of Kyle Busch leaving him the open lane. A little bit respect for a playoff driver, a little bit just understanding how much faster the 24 will be on corner exit.
Yeah, the 24 started 25th, so he's done a nice job of picking up spots right here.
Another driver on the top of your screen, that 11 Mavis Tire aqua color, almost blends in with the wall here at Homestead-Miami. Watch what he does. Lifts early, the 20 gains a little bit, but then Denny back in the gas. He'll have a huge run off the corner. I like how the 11's kind of committed to the wall in 3 and 4. Now 1 and 2, Jeff, he moves around a little more, but at 3 and 4, it's been on the wall most of the day.
Denny is the driver 1 position below the cut line. Coming into this, Bubba Wallace gets loose.
And caught Denny. He almost, you know, Denny was going to avoid the 23. The 23 went up. That cost the 11 time as well. That was a big moment for both cars.
Wow, that was close. You may have heard Denny on his own podcast earlier this week just say, look, frankly, I'm surprised that we're even still in the playoffs, but I'm going to run with it.
Watch how loose he is right here. That is, if from inside the race car, you feel like you are almost wrecked. I mean, he did a great job of saving it. Denny Hamlin, this is what he saw. He's like, oh no. And you said it right, Steve. He just trying to get slowed down to miss the wreck. And when he did that, the car just went right. He was convinced that 23 car was going around.
And he was saying, oh no, that's one of my cars, one of my drivers.
He is the car owner.
As well as my own campaign. Tyler Reddick has led 18 laps so far. What a start to the day. He's never led that many laps here at Homestead-Miami Speedway in Cup competition. Here's Martin Truex on the inside of teammate Christopher Bell. This fight's for 6th.
Truex in his last full year of Cup Series competition. He has stated he'll be back to run a few races next year, starting with the Daytona 500, but winless this year. Jeff, I think it would be a popular win in the garage for the 19 to go to victory lane.
There's no doubt about that. 49 races since Truex has won.
You've heard about the 3 of us talking about this. Ripping the boards, running the fence, taking the high line here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. What do the drivers themselves say about it?
The advantage of running the wall is I can go really fast.
It's about building confidence, living right there and knowing the margin is small.
Teams and drivers have figured out that you can gain a good bit of grip right by the wall.
Love the lane right against the wall on the older tires. No one does it better.
Reddick and I don't know, we're just really comfortable, I guess, with that feel and just how it probably looks out the windshield.
Two of the very best at going against the wall.
We both grew up racing the same exact stuff, so maybe that has something to do with it too.
'81-degree day here in southern Florida. Doesn't feel too hot though. It's kind of nice. And this aerial coverage that we're going to bring you all day long. Spectacular views. We say thanks to our friends from Traveller Whiskey. If you have never been to Miami, please put it on your list. And if it's been a few years, you can't believe how this city is ever evolving and changing. It is a real hotspot as we welcome you back to the Straight Talk 400. This is Tyler Reddick in the Beast Camry for 2311 Racing. The Xfinity Mobile gives you this view of the race leader who's been out in front for 26 laps.
Yeah, this is the kind of race so far that Tyler Reddick needs. Coming into this race, you consider him a favorite because he's so fast here. And this is the kind of racetrack he does so well on. No top 10s in the last 6 races. And they feel like they're in a must-win situation. 30 points back in the playoffs, so a great start for this team.
This 28-year-old Californian had to show all of the grit and determination and skill combined with his team and their efforts and their determination simply to make it to this round of 8 after a really rough go at the Roval. He had the back end of the car completely airborne. If that wasn't enough, this is what happened to him last week in Las Vegas. He won the opening stage and then went for this gap that evaporated, and wait for it, it's not done yet. If you missed the race last weekend, this is what happened to Tyler Reddick. He said that he had done so much simulator work at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, he knew this was going to happen. He'd done this in the virtual world. He'd done this in the simulated world, so he said it didn't freak him out, Steve.
I'm not sure that makes me feel more comfortable about doubling down the front stretch. Yeah, a lot was made about the move. I liked it. I didn't think it was overly aggressive. I think that's what's required to fill those holes. Like, you know, it's easy to judge it in slow motion and in a replay, but it didn't strike me as crazy when he did it. How about Ryan Blaney driving inside the top 10?
Awesome. Incredible performance. And he is the lead Ford driver. Reigning series champion. He needs a day of sweetness and light. And maybe, just maybe, today's that day.
And look how well the car runs the top of the racetrack. He easily clears the 48, has a run on the 20. He'll back off, let the 20 get away on corner entry. The 20 will give him the top, which Blaney's probably very excited about.
Loves that. Gives him clean air, puts him where he wants to be. Huge positive momentum, just going to hang a left. Going to easily pass Christopher Bell here.
Just to put this into perspective, folks, Christopher Bell started on the 2nd row. Ryan Blaney started on the 10th row. That Menards Ford is flying.
Had a conversation with Ryan this morning, and he said, look, we just couldn't run a fast lap, just one single lap. But long run speed, I love my race car. We have a car that can compete today for the win. The concern is, if you get a late race caution, can they find that speed to be able to take off and not just have long run speed? Because you might need that blasting speed off Steve at some point.
All determines how the race falls, right? If it's a short run or a long run to the finish. Kim.
As the 24 making one of the first green flag stops, Williams saying he does not have the grip he wants. In fact, he told the crew chief that his front tires do not work as well as they hope for. Small adjustments there for William Byron. 4 fresh tires with your fuel.
There's some more takers, including the race leader. Here comes Tyler Reddick. Here comes Chase Elliott. Game on pit road. Hamlin's coming. Briscoe's coming. Blaney as well. Let's talk Elliott. Here's Kim.
Chase Elliott really good on the long run. No major complaints from him on that Chevrolet. They're going to take fresh Goodyear tires, put Sunoco fuel in, Marty. Dave.
And happy with his race car is leader 45, Tyler Reddick, on pit road now, getting 4 Goodyear tires and fuel. No changes in the car now. Like there was control of the race. Denny Hamlin on pit road as well. He's gone.
Here comes Kyle Larson. Marty, he's headed your way.
Yeah, it's interestingly, these teams going on the early side of the window. You would think maybe with the early caution they would split it more in half. But pitting here at lap 34, they asked Kyle Larson a moment ago, said, you want any changes to the car? His only comment, not really. Pretty happy with the 5 car. Meanwhile, Christopher Bell, who said, quote, feels like my front tires are on grease plates. I have no idea what that means. 4 fresh Goodyear tires and a big change here. So Steve, in your driver dictionary, what do grease plates on the front tires mean?
You know, Marty, I assume that means that the car is tight, but that's a new one for me. I don't know if the front tires aren't working, aren't tracking. Every driver seems to have his own vernacular, but that one I'd have to get a little definition for as we ride on board with Bell. One small nuance here, the access road, leaving pit road. No speed limit on this access road. Run as hard as you want, but it can be very slippery as we see Blaney go by in a flash. Up front, Tyler Reddick loses positions to both Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson. Chase Elliott came the same lap as the 45 and just was more efficient. Larson a lap later, which should absolutely not jump a guy on pit road. So the 45 of Reddick, combination of pit entry, pit stop, pit exit, not as good as both of the Hendrick cars.
And even with that being said, Steve, check this out. Look at this replay of Chase Elliott leaving his pit box, and watch Daniel Suarez in the foreground. Look at this. Chase has got to jump on the brakes, just balk for a moment. Cost him maybe, what, half a second? And then away he goes again. But was still good enough to leapfrog the 45.
Yeah, that's good work, though. Understanding that he was out there. That's information from his team saying car outside rather than just hanging a right and causing damage. Good work by the team.
Well, Reddick's pit stop over a second slower than those 2 other cars, so there's the answer. But in a week of mistakes a week ago, I know his second off is awful, and we're going to point it out because he lost the lead, but I'd much rather have a little bit slower pit stop than having to come back for loose wheels or having those 20-second pit stops that we saw. So for Reddick's bunch, while it wasn't perfect, that's okay. If that's the worst one you have all day, you're going to be fine.
And we get to watch this fight. The HendrickCars.com view back to Tyler Reddick. Is he faster? How much faster than Kyle Larson? Differing lines tell a bit of the story. Let's talk more about Reddick. Here's Dave Burns.
So Steve pointed out the second difference in the pit stops as Reddick tries to run down race leader Kyle Larson. They talked about it on the radio right after.
Wheel good. It still has no traction. Yes, all good. But we've thought this before. Leave it in the box. We'll keep working on the traction side of it, man.
So Tyler was really asking Steve, did I make a mistake? And they said, no, that was fine. But the traction leaving the box, that is an issue.
Yeah, so he's talking about the acceleration out of pit box 1. And remember, pit box 1 is a big advantage under caution because you only have to roll to the camera. You just hear all the wheels spin, and there's the camera right to your left. So under yellow, it's a big advantage because you are scored instantly at the camera. Under green, you kind of go back out and you have to blend in. So pit stall 1, actually a disadvantage under green because, you know, the camera's up here. This is the camera line. These are the cameras that measure them in and out. Yellow line is a little bit to the right. So you have all the way to this yellow line kind of up here for speed, but if you leave pit box 1, you are still under pit road speed at that yellow line. So it's actually a little bit of a disadvantage.
On board with Tyler Reddick. Enjoy the ride as we wait for Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Todd Gilliland, Joey Logano, and Austin Cindric to come in and pit. Harrison Burton and Justin Haley, they were forced to pit after that lap 1 incident.
So Steve, the top 7 cars have not pitted. Chase Elliott just ran a 34.15. Keselowski a 35.65. So a second and a half slower staying on the racetrack. What is their strategy? Why are they staying out?
Well, right now they're all gambling for yellow. They're hoping the yellow comes out. They can come do their service. They'll have fresher tires than everyone else who chooses to stay on the racetrack, but most of the leaders probably would pit as well. The problem is they're going to lose so much time to the cars that pitted that when they do pit, they're going to lose a lap. The only advantage, fresher tires when they rejoin the racetrack, but when you get towards this group of cars, it's kind of racing laps. These guys are hoping to get a caution and save a lap and not go a lap down in stage 1.
Dave?
And Lee, they're talking about bringing him in. They talked about it last lap, so you may see the 6 right away. You do see Kyle Busch on pit road. That car decent on the first run, as well as the 22 Joey Logano. Remember, started at the back of the pack. They want to try something different if they could, but they just can't stay out any longer on these tires as they wear and get the car slower. Here comes Brad Keselowski now. Let's see, 8 laps led on the day before he had to give up his strategy here for 4 Goodyear tires and fuel.
These guys are really just playing the math with that early yellow. This will give the same amount of green flag laps on both sets of tires. We'll just have to see, you know, which works as we get a good view leaving pit lane from the consumer cellular cam and the rear bumper of Brad Keselowski.
If you may have noticed on the order, the race order, after stopping 1 lap earlier than everybody else, William Byron and that 24 team continue their amazing run. 25th. Here's Byron and Blaney, 25th to 8th. What a run. That Valvoline Chevy is in good form today. So too the Menards Ford for Ryan Blaney. These 2 guys have made so much progress.
They have to be ecstatic with the start of this race. Just ecstatic. First of all, they missed the wreck. You know, lap 1, corner 1, where they were running, they could have easily got stacked up even if they didn't hit the car spinning, but they got to be just, this race couldn't have started better for these 2 after poor qualifying.
There was a close moment for Ryan Blaney. Did you notice that on that lap 1 incident?
Yeah.
But he avoided the wall and he avoided the car that was coming up on the inside of him. So finally, Ryan Blaney's luck may have changed. You're watching the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. This is the Straight Talk 400. Under caution for the second time today, and the reason why is that car on your screen, the 5 of Kyle Larson, and here's what went down, or what went up.
Yeah, leading the 45, runs in, about to groove off the wall, goes down into the corner. I believe the right rear tire goes down before he hits the wall. Right there, I see a little bit of dust out the back of the car, and then the back kind of gets contact with the wall. So we know he had a flat right rear tire. I wasn't sure if it was wall contact that created the flat. I believe it's a flat tire that created wall contact.
I agree 100%, and I'm going to tell you something else. It's a good thing he was next to the wall when that happened. If he's 6 or 7 car widths away from the wall,
It's Atlanta,
and that tire blows, and he goes up and hits the wall big. Instead, he's already up against it. It kind of goes up there and kisses the wall. Should not be big damage there.
Interestingly enough, you know, rear tires and failing rear tires, pitting under green is harder on rear tires than pitting under yellow. And here's the reason for the yellow. The carcass of the tire comes off basically on pit road entry.
I'd say the biggest concern for the 5 car right now is what kind of damage is done to the underbody of that car with the right rear flat. Is it damaged the underbody and therefore damage the downforce on the car, and will it slow it down, Marty?
And Jeff, I think that's the big question Cliff Daniels would love to know. It was that right rear you guys talked about. Cliff Daniels speculating that he thinks it might have been a slow leak, much like Christopher Bell had in practice yesterday for the Cup Series. That might have happened to Kyle Larson as well, but he said the tire did indeed go before he hit the wall for sure. The one good piece of news, Steve, is that Kyle Larson said he does not think that his steering is that far off, so the car's still tracking correctly. And Jesse Saunders, the car chief, yes, just gave the thumbs up that it is tracking correctly by his calculations right now. They had a situation like this last weekend at Las Vegas. Cliff Daniels spent a lot of time with the pit crew this week walking through these scenarios of what to happen in case something like this happens, but I don't think anyone expected it to happen this early here at Miami.
They're taking their time because the field is down in between turns 3 and 4. Now they release the HendrickCars.com Chevy to get out and catch the field. Plenty of takers. Pit road's about to get super busy. Kim Coon standing by. Here they come, Kimmy.
Yeah, leader Chase Elliott leading down pit road. Chase saying, I don't need anything right now. It is turning better than it did yesterday, so they will just take a clean 4 fresh Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel, Marty.
Kim, you want to know how good Ryan Blaney's car is? If you know about how much he talks on the radio, his only comment today, we're pretty good right here. That car is awfully quick, Dave.
Denny Hamlin a little bit tight off of 4, no changes there. As in Tyler Reddick, his car was tight behind the 5 and the 9 car. They told him to be gentle exiting pit lane this time. See if he can keep the wheel spin down just a little bit. Oh, there's still a lot of wheel spin there, Lee.
Let's have a look at some key numbers, Dave, who made some progress. For Chase Elliott, it's nice, nothing. Just 4 new tires, and I'll keep the lead. For Bubba Wallace, it was pretty good, and Ryan Blaney grabbed another spot as well. NBC Sports coverage of NASCAR is brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Real unlimited data for fans of fast. Official partner of NASCAR. Credit One Bank NASCAR American Express card. Toyota, let's go places. And by Progressive. Save when you bundle motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. Visit progressive.com. Wi-Fi coverage from green flag to checkered, from the best seat in the house. Xfinity, bring on the good stuff. And we've got plenty of good stuff coming your way here today from the Straight Talk 400. The NASCAR Cup Series playoffs continue. And a reminder, see that QR code there? If you scan that now, you can get charged up during the NASCAR playoffs with a chance to win the all-electric 2024 Ford F-150 Lightning Flash, or visit NASCAR.com/Ford Playoffs promo to enter. And good luck. There's one of the many Ford drivers, Brad Keselowski, Consumer Cellular on board, gives us a look inside the number 6. And speaking inside, let's bring in our very own Hall of Famer, DJ Dale Jarrett. What did you make of what you've seen so far, DJ?
Well, kind of what we expected. Drivers searching around to see exactly where they want to go. But, you know, we talked in the pre-race show about the pressures on the drivers. Then Kyle Larson has something like this to happen. You don't know what your car is going to drive like this. Or after something like this, you're hoping everything's okay. He's got plenty of time to get back to the front, but it's just added pressure.
Who's caught your eye? Is it Blaney? Is it Byron? Is it Chase Elliott? Who's impressed you in this early stanza?
I'm going with Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney. Those are the two best that I see right now that need a win.
Front guys all stay on the racetrack. Busch, Logano, Cindric, Gilliland, older tires, a handful of laps because they pitted late under green. This could be very exciting for Elliott. First car on fresh Goodyears.
Let's see as we go back to green. Let's see the difference it makes. Watch that blue car. And keep your eye on Bubba Wallace as well. The bright red McDonald's machine in the middle.
Bubba Wallace out of a cannon. Chase Elliott says, if there's room, I'm going to the top.
Take me with you.
God almighty.
Look at that for a restart from Bubba Wallace, who almost lost the car earlier in front of co-owner Denny Hamlin on track.
And remember this, that's only 4-lap pressure tires. That's why you have to save tires for the end of the race.
And here comes William Byron. Look at that Valvoline Chevy. Byron has had an outstanding day. Byron and Blaney. There's Ryan, that Dayglow yellow Menards Ford. Bell's going up on the high line of William Byron.
Denny Hamlin, 4th car on the bottom, trying to get by Logano. An over 11-second pit stop for the 11 team, so pit stop woes continue for the Joe Gibbs Racing car.
Those teams that stayed out on older tires, they did not think they were going to keep the lead. What they're hoping to do is just net out better. Where were they running before they pitted, and where they're going to be running when this stage ends?
For the Larson fans, hard to tell the damage on the 5 car. He got minimum speed. He's back there about 32nd, but in traffic, we're just really not going to know the performance of this 5. I have a feeling he's going to let us know over the radio here in the next 10 or 20 laps.
Tell you what, good run from Josh Berry in the 4. Keep your eye on that. Meanwhile, here's the teammates up front, 1st and 2nd. Tyler Reddick on the low line. Bubba Wallace up high, up against the wall.
Oh, good teammate. Bubba Wallace gave his old buddy Tyler Reddick a spot on corner exit. And I'm okay with that. You know, I don't want to see a teammate give up a spot to win the race or give up a spot in the closing laps. But Tyler Reddick is faster. Bubba Wallace knows it. So he cuts him a little break in the corner exit.
Yeah. How quick can the 9 be? And here is Blaney. Ryan Blaney runs 4th. Again, he started 20th. The best Ford after qualifying was Josh Berry in 12th. Blaney was back. Blaney was the lead of the 3 Penske Fords in 20th. Then it was Logano, then it was Cindric. It was a rough day in qualifying yesterday. But Sunday, when it counts, is looking a whole lot better. Here's Elliott on the inside.
Elliott on the inside up top. Larson on the bottom of your screen moves up into the 29th position. So working his way back through the field. Marty, what are you hearing about Kyle Larson in that 5?
So, Steve, before they went green, Kyle Larson came back to pit road. Jesse Saunders, the car chief, dove underneath the car and gave a thumbs up to Cliff Daniels. He said the diffuser is intact. The underneath of the car is intact. Kyle Larson came in with a 35-point cushion to Miami. We'll see if he can hang on to that. But so far, from what they can tell on pit road, it looks fine. But, Steve, you made a great point. Cliff Daniels said, keep us posted on how it actually runs once you get up to speed.
Well, the right front of the 5 car was almost not intact with the contact with Harrison Burton on corner exit. It was very, very close. Harrison was about a half a lane down trying to figure out what he was going to do with the 2 of Cindric. And the 5 basically cleared himself 1 lane up. I don't think there was ill will between them, but a little miscommunication, but it was close to the end of the day for both of them.
Tell you what, for the second week in a row, Kyle Larson is playing the catch-up game, and he did an outstanding job last week to come home 11th in Vegas after not being on the lead lap and just kept digging all day as he works on Michael McDowell in the Loves Ford for Front Row Motorsports. Top box, Chase Elliott, Bubba Wallace.
The other thing about Kyle Larson back there in the pack of the pack at 27th, your car isn't going to drive back good back there anyway. It is not going to drive well with all that dirty air. So the assessment of is our car damaged is very difficult back here. So the only thing you can do is focus on what does the car need to do better and just keep making those changes.
Well, and the challenge for Larson is when you look at the rest of the playoff drivers, they're all at the front. Reddick first, Elliott third, Blaney fourth, Bell fifth, Byron, we've said a lot about Blaney. William Byron also starting near the back up to 6th. He's a little bit different look this week. Top of your screen, right? You saw Hamlin pop out of line. Well, Byron has this kind of blue and silver car. Blends in. I have a hard time finding it. There it is. Good looking paint scheme, but hard to find on the racetrack.
It's fun watching this battle back here. It is so, we talk about it every week. When you get back there for 25th, 26th, 27th, it is hand-to-hand combat. It's intense up front, but not as intense as it is back here. Look at Larson to the bottom.
On the inside of Kyle Busch, Ricky Stenhouse in that bright purple and gold 47 up high.
Thought we were going to see more out of Stenhouse today. Great qualifying run, and that wasn't a fluke. He was decent in practice. Currently 24th. A lot of racing to go, so we'll just see how that 47 shakes out.
I was chatting with Ricky in the garage area early this morning. He had so much fun in qualifying. Right up near the wall. He said, oh yeah, that was pretty sketchy, but it was fun. It was a good run, and it got him into the top 10 for just the second time in a long time.
See Chase Elliott trying to make this pass on Bubba Wallace. As long as Bubba can make that top lane work, it's going to be hard for Chase Elliott to make this pass. The best opportunity is down here in 1 and 2. There's more grip on the bottom in the middle of 1 and 2 than it is in that same place in a racetrack in 3 and 4. So you almost got to just work 3 and 4 for positioning. Leave turn 4 on the bumper. That's what he's trying to do right here. See, he's not running toward the bottom. What he's trying to do is just get some momentum. If he can get momentum and leave closer to the 23, then he can turn left and try to make a pass over at 1 and 2.
What's going to make that more difficult is out the rear bumper of the 9 of Chase Elliott. If we get a look back, you're going to see that bright yellow hood of Blaney. So as he runs the bottom, there you go. You better be careful because Blaney will jump on your right rear quarter panel. And next thing you know, trying to go forward, you've lost the position.
You want to play offense, but you got to play a little bit of defense also.
Isn't it crazy that the top 3 guys who are in the playoffs, Reddick, Elliott, and Blaney, came into this race all below the cut line. They're all going for the kill. They're all going for the win. reminder that you can download the official app of NASCAR and follow the action with free live scoring, in-car camera and radio broadcast. And you can upgrade to premium for full access to driver audio channels and a completely ad-free experience. Search NASCAR in your app store to download and start a free trial. As we welcome you back, we're on board the freeway.com onboard of Daniel Suarez. I want to tell you about DraftKings Sportsbook. It's an authorized gaming operator of NASCAR, and this week new customers can bet $5 Stevie and pocket $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the app and use the promo code SPEED when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. What do you make of those numbers, those odds?
New favorite in the house. It was a Reddick, Bell, Larson favorite when the race started, but the live odds now have Elliott at 2.5 times your money, Reddick 3 times, Blaney 4 times. They still believe in Larson all the way in the back, 5.5 times your money. I'm going to tell you, I said it at the beginning, I'll say it again. 14-1 for Truex. I know he hasn't been great, but that looks pretty good. Not to mention Wallace at 9-1.
He runs 10th. What about Denny Hamlin? He's 9th, and you get plus 650 on Hamlin. There he is right there.
Plus 650, but you need Denny Hamlin's car to work more than just the upper lane, because he can run the wall and do something magical up here, but then when he runs into somebody like he has right now with the 48 out front, he just can't get off the wall to make the pass. He keeps sneaking down the banking, but hard to make passes going forward, Jeff.
Yeah, that's what's so difficult about this racetrack. If somebody gets that top working, it's hard to get by him. And again, this is the end of the racetrack. There's more flexibility.
This is a legitimate run and a legitimate position for the Rookie of the Year points leader in that yellow and black Chevy for Spire. Carson Hocevar now runs 5th. Wow. Incredible run, Dave Burns.
Lee, when we checked in with his crew chief, Luke Lambert, this morning, he said, we absolutely believe Carson is championship material in the future. He is a rookie. He says, I take it as a very high responsibility on me to help him get here. This youngster from Portage, Michigan has shown what he can do already in the lower ranks of NASCAR, and now in the Cup Series, doing it for Spire.
He won here in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. He loves this track, and he's going door-to-door with Christopher Bell.
That was a great move. What he just did over in 1 and 2 was he just simply overdrove the corner and carried so much speed that he just slid up in front of the 20 of Bell, almost hit the wall, checked up, had to slow down. Bell was faster, but then the 77 of Hocevar had the preferred lane. That is how you make passes in today's NASCAR, and he performed it perfectly.
And you know, the interesting thing to that point, Jeff, is that prior to this weekend, he had said, look, I know this place really well in a truck. I'm not sure where the preferred lane will be in this modern era, this next-gen Cup car. Well, I think he's pretty quickly worked it out.
He's learning quickly, and heard the report about his crew chief, Luke Lambert. Luke's one of the brightest young minds, I think, in this sport.
How about the race leader? We jump up several positions from where Carson Hocevar is to Tyler Reddick, Dave, who has led 52 laps today so far.
And with the stage break coming, you know they'll be coming to pit road again, and that has been a problem for Tyler Reddick today. Not getting into his pit box, not servicing the pit crew, but leaving the pit box. They're trying to give him more traction. They have sprayed sticky stuff, and they are working it in as best they can. They checked with the crew chief, Billy Scott. Billy said, this has happened to us before here at this track. There's not a lot we can do. We just have to try to manage it. But boy, guys, he can't afford to be losing spots every time he comes down pit road.
It's frustrating. I don't have pit stall 1 is a big issue here. In Las Vegas, it really is pretty slippery. Obviously, they're continuing to work on it, but I'm with Billy Scott. Positions are so important. You would think qualifying and getting that pit stall 1 would be an advantage. But if they can't get this traction figured out, it definitely will be a disadvantage, as we see William Byron all the way to the rear bumper of the 11 of Hamlin.
This is the fight for 7th place. Inside 4 to go. Let's make it 3 to go in stage 1 here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. It's the second race in the round of 8. Only 2 races remain on the season. We'll see you in Martinsville, Virginia next weekend, and then Phoenix for the championship finale.
Solid run for the 11 car. It's been a struggle for him in the playoffs. This is the kind of run you would expect to see. The question is it enough? 27 points coming into this race behind the cutoff. Can he have 2 good races and get it done, or does he need to win one of these?
Yeah, I don't think Good's going to do it, especially with Reddick leading, right? Because that puts Reddick in as a leader. an automatic berth, a winner, and he's below the cut line as well. That's what makes this so complicated is, you know, it's not like the Salvation Army, fill your bucket and you're guaranteed forward. Remember, the line moves. That's what happens, Diff, right? You think you know you have enough points, but then if you have a new winner, then that line completely shifts.
We were watching that variation and that manipulation at the Roval when it was so nail-biting between Tyler Reddick and Joey Logano, and Logano was bounced out, and then the disqualification of the 48, Alex Bowman, and back in. But Tyler Reddick, if you remember back at that Roval, at that highly eventful race, he won stage 1 there, and then went on to have a crazy eventful rest of the afternoon. Then last weekend in Las Vegas, before that rollover that we showed you, he won stage 1 there. So this is going to be 3 in a row for the driver of the 45 from 2311 Racing, the Toyota Camry, the Beast Toyota Camry. It was quick in qualifying, and it's been very swift here in stage 1. Tyler Reddick wins the first stage. His teammate comes home second. Chase Elliott has had a very productive opening stage. He'll grab third place points, and Ryan Blaney from 20th to 4th. Carson Hocevar following in that same trend. Hocevar had an awesome first stage as he goes from 15th to 5th. Valuable points for Tyler Reddick. That's what it's all about. It was an eventful start in the Straight Talk 400. You're watching the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs on NBC. NBC Sports coverage of NASCAR is brought to you by Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Is it the best Coke ever? McDonald's. And by National Debt Relief, helping you become debt-free. There's a great overview, great look at Miami, downtown and the port. This place is happening. It's buzzing and continues to grow, as do the stories in this Straight Talk 400. Pit road is getting busy. Stage 1 is complete. And let the work begin for the teams. Kim Kuhn.
Yeah, top left, Chase Elliott, still no major complaints. He said the balance isn't bad, just down on overall grip. Used up the fronts first, then the rears. No adjustments for fresh Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel, Marty.
From 20th to 7 stage points for Ryan Blaney, who says we have speed, but the front end just slides on entry. Meanwhile, Christopher Bell said the car is much better. I just need more turn late in the corner, Dave.
Tyler Reddick just wanted a bottle of refreshment, a clearer view. Now can he lower the RPM just a little bit to get out of his pit box and win the race off pit road? No, a slower stop. He will lose the lead and more.
How about that? How about that? 2 positions gained by Carson Hocevar. Awesome effort there, but check out what happened here at RFK Racing and Chris Buescher. He got nudged by Ricky Stenhouse, and the Fastenal Ford went around. There's a great aerial shot, and we'd like to say thanks to our friends at Traveller Whiskey for providing all of these unbelievable scenes from the air today of Miami Beach, downtown in the background, and we're a little further south. And this is in Homestead. But what a place it is. No wonder it's on everybody's to-visit, to-go list. That's for sure. You see the McDonald's car. It's running 2 back from the pace car there. Bubba Wallace behind the wheel. Today, led by McDonald's own Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick, many of the drivers are raising awareness for the 50th anniversary of the Ronald McDonald House Charities organisation. Each participating driver is honouring a Ronald McDonald House Charities family by including their name above the passenger door. The RMHC provides essential services for families with ill or injured children so they can focus on the health and well-being of their child. And we would encourage you to scan the QR code or visit rmhc.org to learn more about how you can support this wonderful cause. Kim, it's a celebration and acknowledgement of so much good work. That good work continues that's been done over half a century.
Yeah, absolutely, Lee. And for Joey Logano in that car, they're spotlighting the Alter family, the Ronald McDonald child, Ellie Alter. Now, the Alter family spent more than 100 days in the hospital with their daughter after she was born. She had 4 surgeries in just the first 7 months of her life, including an open heart surgery at 6 days old. The family, well, they were able to be by Ellie's side all through that due to the support from the Ronald McDonald House. But the best part, the part I love about this story is the Alters are celebrating Ellie's first birthday right now as we speak from 2 to 4 today with a party this afternoon. So we want to wish a very happy birthday to the resilient young girl, Ellie Alter.
And there are stories like that behind the names that are represented here today. Ronald McDonald House is in more than 60 countries globally. It first opened in October of 1974 in Philly, and there's some 28 drivers and 11 teams participating in this. So congratulations to everybody, and let it go for another 50 years in helping ill and injured kids and their family. It was not a great time on pit road, Dave Burns, for this man here, Tyler Reddick, who won the first stage. What happened?
6 spots lost, just a bit of a slower stop, and while some drivers may key the radio and throw an expletive out there, this was the calm voice of Tyler Reddick.
Copy that. All good, guys. We got about, I don't know, 80 laps to sort this out. We'll get back up there. Shake it off. All good.
That tells me the driver is calm, but the driver's also, Marty, very confident about his race car over the next 80 laps.
Yep, Dave, Kyle Larson stuck in 32nd. What's the update on the car? Listen in.
I'm going to vent for a second. Cars are stupid. Like, how can you get a flat tire done that can put in the garage, or you get a flat tire and wear out a little bit of your diffuser and your race is killed? Stupid.
With you 100%. As far as the repair goes, there's not really anything that we're legal to do at this point since everything is still attached.
That's the voice of frustration of Kyle Larson. Stage 1 done. This is stage 2. Let's fire him on. Elliott pops out, looks on the inside. That Napa Chevy drives straight to the lead. Wallace on the high side, though. That Toyota has had plenty of speed today. But Chase Elliott's trying to race his way into the championship 4.
Remember, Blaney's concern before this race was, could he take off with speed on restarts?
Reddick drops down low. Good, encouraging words for his team. Let's not worry about it, guys. We can fight back from here. We've got 80 laps to do it. Good restart from Denny Hamlin as well. The 11 is right there. His teammate on his lower side. Then Blaney right down on the line. Whoa, that was tight for Bubba Wallace. That's not the only time today that that car has been moving around and he's had to catch it. Steve, the 11 seems to have a little bit of pep in its step.
I think he gets frustrated on older tires. He's good around the top, but can't make passes. You see the aggression on this restart. Car driving really nice around the bottom. Blaney's got to hold him down, though, side by side for third. Reddick with the big move to the bottom of the racetrack, and I think the 11, though, is going to prefer this. This might allow him to get to the outside of both the 12 and the 45 if he can just get the gas applied on corner exit.
Tyler Reddick tucks in behind Denny Hamlin. There's his teammate not too far up ahead. Bell is looming in the background. Elliott still leads. Bowman comes into the picture. Carson Hocevar is staying in the top 10. What a run it's been for the 21-year-old today. Tyler Reddick has the statistical comfort knowing that when he has led at least 50 laps, he has one win. So he's led 60 today. Can he get that for the second time? We'll see. He's certainly in the mix nicely.
Bubba Wallace and Ryan Blaney with a great battle right there. Now that Blaney's had a couple laps on his tires, his car is driving the way he wants it to. Lap 1, corner 1 on the restart, it wasn't even close. They all went flying by him, but now he's recovered and has forward momentum.
This group is starting to get closer and tighter and bigger. Bell comes into it again. Chase Elliott with that clear air. Boy, this guy was distraught last weekend after dominating in Vegas, and just to come up short to see Logano race his way into the championship 4. He let his emotions boil over on the radio, and he said earlier this week, typically I don't do that. I don't like to show that, but I couldn't help myself. That was me. That was raw emotion. You understand that, Jeff?
I understand it well. Said a lot of things I regretted in the heat of the battle.
Look at Hocevar down on the low line. The yellow and black car, the 77 for Spire.
Be humble, be smart.
This isn't some fleeting visit to the front. He's there. He was there at the end of stage 1, and he's staying there. And his teammate's not far back either. Zane Smith. Smith runs in 8th.
The communication to Carson was pretty interesting. Be humble and be smart, meaning recognize that it is an honor to race with these guys. You're doing a great job. Take it to them, but be smart doing it. Do not push so hard that you make a mistake.
What's one of the most common things that non-playoff drivers say? They don't want to affect the race of a playoff driver or the big picture, take them out of maybe advancing to the next phase. Wallace switches lanes, tucks up on the inside of his co-team owner, Denny Hamlin. Reddick shadowing in the background. This is good stuff.
Bubba Wallace right in front of the 77. Carson right now saying, now, wait a minute, I don't mind being respectful, but they're going to need to be respectful to me as well.
Just behind this picture here, and it happens again. Super close between Wallace and Hocevar. Look back behind. Here comes that Valvoline Chevy of William Byron. There it is. Byron gets by Zane Smith. And he continues in the same vein as Ryan Blaney, just surging his way forward and helping build his playoffs picture. At the moment, he stays above the cut line. All right, Stevie, you're Luke Lambert. What do you say? What do you say to Carson Hocevar?
Actually, I've been impressed. I agree with Jeff. I think the 23 had a block the first time. That was aggressive. The second time, Hocevar said, no, but I'm here. Look, I know I'm not a playoff driver, but Bubba, you and I were racing where neither of us were in the playoffs. I've earned my way to be up here. And at some point, Jeff, there is erratic. Then there's other times where he's just not being respected. And I thought Hocevar did a nice job not making contact with the 23, but asserting his kind of lane and his position at the bottom of the racetrack. Jeff, disagree, or do you think he had a right to be there the second time?
Oh, I think he 100% had a right to be there. As far as Carson Hocevar, it was his spot, right? He had great forward momentum on the bottom of the racetrack.
Dave, what's the latest? What you got?
So Tyler Reddick, one of the fastest cars today, he may have an issue. Listen.
My left rear feels odd. I had to make 2 big moves on the front stretch. We'll check. Everything looks good on the left rear from what we can tell.
It feels odd. Had to make 2 big moves. Steve, from what they can check, they said it's okay. What can you check when a driver says the tire feels odd at 180 miles an hour?
Well, you can basically go back and review the footage to make sure that the wheel itself is tight. You don't get any live air pressure. You don't get any sort of live data that has any idea. Really, it's just a visual inspection. You can look at still photography and maybe use a set of bifocal or binoculars to look in there and see if the tire looks more slack than normal, but not a lot you can actually check with data.
65 to go in stage 2, and Chase Elliott's got some company. Ryan Blaney edges a little closer, and so too does Denny Hamlin. Is today going to be a day that we remember that changes Denny Hamlin's 2024 championship campaign? Where in his own words said that he's frankly surprised that they're still alive, they're still in it at this stage. But look at the way that the 11 is driving.
Well, Marty Snyder asked me in the pre-race, does Chase Elliott or Ryan Blaney need to win? And I said, absolutely. They're both champions. They have won in this format. They both realize they need to win. For Hamlin, I didn't think 27 points was a must-win, but it was a must-winning performance, right? He had to be out there and lead laps, be in the top 2 or 3. But all 3 of these drivers, I think, feel that victory lane is a must.
And that's the problem with the playoffs, right? The competition is so tough. You could be having a really good day, but is that going to be enough? All these guys possibly need great days. Who's going to find a way to beat who?
Do we find it funny that the top 4 in the race are the bottom 4 in the standings?
Yeah.
That they've all decided that it has to happen.
Here goes Hamlin on the inside of Ryan Blaney. And Hamlin has such an amazing history at Martinsville. But I liked earlier this week the way that Denny said, I don't want to have to rely on Martinsville. You don't know what it's going to be like. Option tire there next week. And he said, let's go get it done this week.
I've talked a lot about Denny Hamlin, and there's 2 ways to look at it. You could be disappointed with their performance in the playoffs, or you could say they have nowhere near brought their best, and they're still around. The rest of the competitors maybe wishes they would have eliminated the 11 after a poor first round, performance.
It's a great battle right here. 2 different techniques, both making about the same lap time. Chase Elliott able to stay right against that fence. Goes to the throttle very early, trying to feed as much throttle as quickly as he can.
Hamlin continues the chase on race leader Chase Elliott, who's now been out in front for 24 laps. A reminder that you can join NASCAR's free rewards program and start earning points that turn into member-only rewards, and you can earn every time you check in for a race. You can trade points in for free tickets, exclusive gear, autographed merchandise, and one-of-a-kind race day experiences by visiting NASCAR.com/fan-rewards. Race leader Chase Elliott, the Napa Chevy for Hendrick Motorsports. This is the day he's been waiting for quite some time. Could have been there, might have been there last weekend in Vegas, but got caught up in that incident that involved multiple cars, most notably Tyler Reddick when he went down and spun and flipped.
Every racetrack has its challenges, and one of those at this racetrack is how much it changes. As the temperature comes down, as rubber gets built into the racetrack, your car may drive great right now, but 100 laps from now, it may not. And so if your driver's running well, don't take for granted it's going to continue that way. And if he's not running well, don't assume he can't get there, because you're going to have to make the right changes as a team, Steve.
Yeah, and as we close in on green flag pit stops, now's the time to have those conversations with your driver. Let's take a look exactly what happened with the 12 of Blaney. I think we're going to see just a little bit of contact. Yeah, pretty standard contact. It looked like mostly the right rear.
Stayed in there a little longer than you want to see it, though. You know, a lot of times you'll see him just kind of touch the wall. This one, when it gets in the wall, it kind of pulls the car into it, and he couldn't get away from it.
When you're threading the needle that close, Jeff, does it give you a little bit of a shock instantly to make you react, or you're kind of half expecting it as Blaney is coming to pit road?
Close enough that I imagine maybe it's a few laps early for a green flag pit stop, but after the wall contact, maybe make a safer call, not go all the way until you have a right side go down, Marty.
Yeah, Jonathan Hassler knows that his driver is struggling on corner exit, just needs the car to turn a lot better, and you could see that from that last replay. They're going to come in here, 4 fresh Goodyear tires for Ryan Blaney. Again, that turn at the end of the corner is the biggest issue. So, Steve, what's the advantage in pitting on the early side of the window before everybody else?
Well, the first advantage for the 12 is to get the damaged right side tires off after wall contact. The gain now will be to go out there and use these new tires in the next 3 or 4 laps before others come to pit road to try to gain positions. That's why you now see William Byron counter. He'll jump on pit road as well, Kim.
Yeah, William Byron was one to pit early on the green flag cycle last time, too. He said the back's starting to get out of the track in the long run. The front turn, though, staying with him. All he asked for is longevity in the back end of the car. 4 fresh Goodyear tires, slight adjustment, Sunoco fuel.
So to give you an idea just how short these guys are pit stops, they have 28 laps on their tires. They have to run 51 to the end of the stage. So, you know, math, data analytics would say, hey, run about the same. Call it 40-ish laps on both sets of tires. But it has proven that coming to pit road early, getting your tires and going to make time, in the end works out more times than not. So I think we're going to see a wave of cars join the pit cycle here. Dave.
Alex Bowman brings a 48 to pit road. He said it's tight with the nose, really snappy on exit. So 2 problems for crew chief Blake Harris to attend here. 4 Goodyear tires and fuel for him. You're on board with Joey Logano riding below. Joey says my turn is good, but I need more rear grip. That hurts my turn in, Marty.
The struggle continues for Kyle Larson, Dave. He got no better than 21st on that run. Says the car just not working the way he needs to after that flat right front earlier, Kim.
And his teammate Chase Elliott will pit from the lead. Chase said, I'm not too tight yet, but I don't want the right rears pumped up, so they'll lay off the air pressure adjustment. Just take 4 fresh Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel.
Kim, Christopher Bell showed some late run strength, but he said, I still need the car to turn a little bit more for me. Very late in the corner. That's where he feels like he's losing a lot of time. And maybe this longer run here, as they put on the back end of this window, will play to the favor of the 20 team.
It's going to be very interesting to see as we ride along board with Bell to see where the 9 and the 11 cycle as well. The 9 on the access road, the 11 on the banking. And there you have it. The 9 of Chase Elliott is going to give up control of the race to the 11 car. We'll see if that works when it all cycles around. Look at the 9 on those new tires.
Wow.
Unlaps himself right away, makes it look really easy. And Blaney, who was the first to pit road, he has cycled all the way to the front. So a little bit of a mix right here. Blaney, I imagine the 9 should be able to get back by him with a couple lap fresher tires. We'll wait and see.
3 lap difference in tires right here, so you would think the 9 would be able to catch him pretty quickly. It looks like to me these tires for about the first 15 laps are really fast, and then they kind of level off. It no longer becomes a big advantage. So if you're Chase Elliott, you want to be pushing hard right here to get by this 12.
2.5 seconds back. That's how far Blaney was back before he made wall contact and came to pit road early. You mentioned it, 3-lap tires. Let's see if Elliott can use the fresher tires before they level off, as you point, Jeff. So to answer Marty's question, hey, why do you come early? This is why. Blaney has cycled out. You see right there, Chase way faster than Hamlin, who continues to run long on tires.
This is down. These guys are down in 16th and 17th. But as Steve said earlier, we wait for it to cycle because these were the ones who dove early in this stage to pit road. Denny Hamlin still leads on track over Tyler Reddick, and then Hocevar, Bubba Wallace. AJ Allmendinger has had a good day. Despite, like, prior to this being up there in the top 5, he raced his way all the way into the mid-teens earlier from a much lower grid spot.
And this doesn't shock me for Denny Hamlin. This is kind of a signature for Gabehart and Hamlin. Run a little bit longer and stick to that math I talked about. Try to run equal amount of laps on both sets of tires.
William Byron about to unlap himself. There goes the Valvoline Chevy down low and goes by the race leader, as did Christopher Bell. .44 to go in this stage.
So now for Hamlin, Reddick, Hocevar, Wallace, a caution would be amazing, right? Because they're going to come. There's only 18 cars in the lead lap, so they're going to come to pit road, put tires on. The guys that just pitted might have to stay out to save a set of tires. But remember earlier, 4-lap older tires got passed like they were standing still in turn 1. So it's also about tire conservation. You have 8 sets in your pits for the entire race.
Reddick talked about having all day long to recover from that pit stop. And you can see right here, he has to be happy with his race car. Faster than Hamlin right now. Kim.
Yeah, for Bubba Wallace, the front end of that run, he said the balance was the best it had been all day. Then late in the run, just sliding the front, so it's going to be 4 Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel, air pressure adjustment for Bubba.
Here comes Hamlin to pit road. So this will be a great example of how much time he will have lost to Elliott. Now remember, when Hamlin rejoins the racetrack, Dave, he's going to have fresher tires in the leader. We'll see if he can use those to make up the lost ground.
And Steve, he got a pep talk before that last restart about him and the spotter being more aggressive from crew chief Chris Gabehart, and so they did. He got up to the front and then eventually led as the cycle continued here. So no complaints about the race car right now. He was complaining a little bit about his right front maybe nearing the end of its life, but that will be no problem now as they change 4 Goodyear tires.
And Stevie, you pointed out last week the couple of times that Denny was stopping short in his box. He was right in the guts of it there. So good stop from the Mavis Tire number 11 crew from Joe Gibbs Racing. And let's watch this cycle. Let's watch how this works out as Tyler Reddick comes in 1 lap later than Hamlin, who he was racing on track. And we see where the 11 cycles back out in relation to the 9, the 12. Where is he? With Blaney and Chase Elliott, etc.
About a quarter lap behind Blaney, but luckily for the 11, a lot of clean air in front as we see the Reddick pit stop out of pit stall 1. Clean on the right side. Clean on the left. All right, so the 45 will leave. So let's kind of take a point and see. We have Blaney exiting turn 2. Backstretch leading. Not leading, but he's the first car that has already pitted. The advantage for the 45 and the 11 is going to be the clean air. The 11 for sure. So here's the 11, but let's look all the way out in front of him. Look at all this clean air. That's what you want. Now you've left pit road. You have fresh tires. You have to make up time. And where do you cycle out in traffic? This is a great spot for Chris Gabehart to place his driver back on the racetrack. He'll be able to run the fastest laps on the racetrack and hopefully close that gap back down to Blaney.
And I know that it was on pit stop cycle, right? But just, Jeff, for this car to be out in front and lead 7 laps, prior to today, holistically this year on the championship, Denny was 3rd best on laps led. He led 10% of the entire season, but that was all in the first third of the year. In the playoffs, he'd only led 5 laps total. So today was a breath of fresh air.
Well, Hamlin mentioned after last week's race, he doesn't even know how they're still in the playoffs. He didn't feel good about where they were. So to come here and have pace, that's really important. But what matters is results. So you have to execute on the pace. If not, it makes no difference.
Kyle Larson in the 5. That comeback story continues. He's fighting there with Austin Cindric. They've spent a lot of time around each other ever since that flat tire woe, and when he slammed the wall, little damage on the 5. You're watching the Straight Talk 400 here on NBC. We are deep in the playoffs for the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series Championship. Lee Diffie, Jeff Burton, Steve Letarte with you on an 81-degree day here in South Florida. And you're looking at Chase Elliott. That blue, white, and yellow Napa Chevy is running beautifully. He leads the way. He's been out in front for 39 laps. He's over Ryan Blaney and Christopher Bell. Denny Hamlin on the charge. But, Jeff, this caught your eye.
Great battle right here. Chase Elliott kind of tries to pull a slide job, slides right up in front of him. Blaney crosses him over, almost contact. Look at this right here. Look at the pace Blaney has. And then down the back straightaway, Blaney trying to get away from him. Chase Elliott chasing him down there, trying to side draft him a little bit.
In the break, folks, Jeff and Steve, they grabbed their attention. They said, oh, look at the boys are playing. And they sure were. At a whopping speed down the back straight here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Now Christopher Bell has bridged that gap to the 12 of Ryan Blaney. Here goes Bell. That Rheem Toyota down on the low side, and keep an eye out for Denny Hamlin in the background because Steve, he rejoins 7 seconds behind Chase Elliott. He's now 3.3 seconds behind the race leader.
Let's remember pre-cycle Blaney was 2.5 seconds back. A little bit of wall contact, came to pit road 3 laps sooner than the leaders being Chase Elliott and Bell, right? So now I think the older tires for Blaney starting to show up as he's losing positions. You mentioned it. Behind Blaney is Hamlin, who has 10 lap fresher than Blaney, 7 lap fresher than the leaders. We have yet to see a run really run our way out. With 31 laps to go, this will be the longest run on tires today. Just how long will these Goodyears hold on for Blaney, and how much will the fresher tires for Hamlin pay off?
The top 6 positions are filled by playoff drivers. Let's talk more about them, and let's kick it off with Kimmy Kuhn. Kim?
Yeah, the leader, Chase Elliott, they find themselves in a must-win situation. So I asked crew chief Alan Gus, said how much stress is on them. And he said actually must-win is not pressure-packed. He's called it liberating. He said it gives you leverage. He said it does not pay to be conservative at all for them today. So he wants to see checkers or records. He wants Chase to send it. So not only do they have a great car, Marty, they've got a driver that has a lot of freedom to take chances.
Kim, Christopher Bell is in second right now. That's exactly where he finished last week's race at Las Vegas, which he said he was, quote, gutted not to win. They had the best car, but he admitted to me, hey, about Monday night, I got over it and moved forward saying, hey, we had a terrific car, had a good weekend, and he said they have not won since New Hampshire in June, Dave. They will love to go back-to-back here in Miami.
Denny Hamlin coming forward on the fresher tires, and Chris Gabehart likes his driver's chances at this track, even though he may not be one of the guys that is the very best at ripping the top. He said, I've got a driver that's able to move around and surgically find speed in different places. That's a real skill, and it will lend itself well to Denny Hamlin again today, Marty.
So, Dave, what did Ryan Blaney think about that contact with Chase Elliott? Listen in.
Ridiculous. Unbelievable. That's like we go to the bottom and we just go straight to the fence, which, I mean, a lot of guys are like that, but we'll be okay here.
So to translate the answer, not very happy. Blaney admitted we have to win if we want to race for a championship this year. And when I asked Jonathan Hassler about that, he said, I'd vote to win here. I never want to rely on that last race at Martinsville, Dave.
Tyler Reddick is 4 seconds behind the lead group. And ever since he's been back in traffic, this car has not been as good. It doesn't turn as well. It doesn't do the same things that it did when it was out front. They need to get this car back out front and get Tyler in position to win. Kim?
Well, for William Byron, they entered this race on a streak of top 4 finishes, 4 of them. And William told me the first race of the round last week at Vegas is always the most nerve-wracking. We got through that. We feel good. And William told me he's learned that there are certain weeks where he needs to get away from the track, all the hustle of the garage to give his mind a break. Well, what did he do this weekend? Because that's one of those weekends. He told me he went to the Keys before the weekend started, did some fishing, and felt great coming into today. Right now, they just need more longevity on the rear of that car through the run, Dave.
It's good news, bad news for Joey Logano. The good news first, pizza. Yes, you ride on board with the Hunt Brothers Pizza Mustang right now for Joey Logano. The other good news is that the balance isn't bad. The bad news is he's been battling a vibration ever since this cycle went through, and he put this set of tires on, Marty.
Dave, the car trying to pass him is Kyle Larson, who has been trying to trudge through the field after that right rear went down earlier on. Cliff Daniels a moment ago kind of radioed to Larson to assess the situation.
I'm not sure how it feels, but your pace here has actually been really good. I know a lot of that is you and not the car, so good work. Keep it up. We're going to net out a couple of spots better on the cycle. Keep it up.
So it's been 6 pit stops total for Cliff Daniels and the 5 team today. But, Steve, I would say if you're Kyle Larson, those were encouraging words from Cliff Daniels after a struggle in stage 1 and 2. They're finally pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, encouraging. I don't know if Larson's going to be happy to hear it. He's frustrated he's not up there racing for the win, but I agree with Cliff. I think that Larson is showing better pace. Still not top 5 or top 6, but much like Reddick, who talked about how his car is not good in traffic, Larson as well. When you go to the back, the car just doesn't drive as well. It's going to take some adjustments.
So you see 2 really good battles here between Logano and Larson and Reddick and Blaney. But up front, Denny Hamlin has bridged the gap to just 1 second. That's what it looks like there. Race leader Chase Elliott. He's never led this many laps ever at Homestead-Miami Speedway, the 2020 Cup champion. But he's got Hamlin zeroing in on him.
And the results of this stage will definitely affect how people pit in the final stage. Basically, the simple, synopsis is the 9 on the front side, early, short run, then a long run to finish. Denny Hamlin broke it up more in the, evenly, not quite even, but he ran longer on the first set of tires. Will it pay off for the 11 or the 9? The rest of the field is watching as well.
Hamlin's doing this chasing on 7-lap younger tires. And there's Christopher Bell, his JGR teammate in the background. Bell's not that far away either. Who's going to come out most satisfied and with the most all-important stage points from this second stage with just 22 to go? And that's not too far down the road. The Keys here in South Florida, one of the most beautiful parts of North America, if not the world. Closing 17 laps of stage 2 here in the Straight Talk 400. Let's bring you the Toyota driver update and show you where those lead Toyota drivers are. Denny Hamlin zeroing in on the lead of the race, sits second, his teammate right behind him, and one of his drivers from 2311 Racing, Tyler Reddick, sits fourth. That's pretty good representation for Toyota after they had 5 of the top 10 in qualifying yesterday as well. There's the difference, first to second, as Hamlin continues the chase on Elliott. Kim?
Yeah, Chase Elliott currently in the lead, and races are all about managing unexpected situations. That's true for the drivers, that's true for the crew chiefs, and today that is true for the spotters. Take a listen to Chase's radio.
We got a really big speed problem up here, man. Just don't get stung. With the way they're swarming, that's like telling a fish not to get wet, man. It's bad up here. I might have to move.
So that was Chase's spotter, Trey Poole. You saw the video of the bees swarming on the spotter stand, so that's what they're dealing with right now under these conditions.
That is crazy. Now that's right above where we're sitting right here.
And all this is going on. Battle for the lead right here. Denny Hamlin, he is right there with Chase Elliott.
This is good stuff. Remember, he came out after his stop 7 laps later than Chase Elliott, 7 seconds behind the driver of the 9. And that time has evaporated. Hamlin is here now to go for the lead and get the stage win.
Chase Elliott's trying to get by Todd Gilliland's got to make this pass. He's going to clear him.
But Denny Hamlin's going to gas up at the bottom. Maybe side by side with the 9 on the backstretch. Oh, the push. The 38 pushes the 9 by.
It has been a while since these guys had won a stage. For Denny Hamlin, that's 12 races ago at Indy. For the race leader, Chase Elliott, he hasn't won a stage since the first stage of the season at the Daytona 500.
Well, they're going to want to get it sorted out because Bell is right behind, and Reddick also coming on those new tires, matching the tires of the 11.
Denny with good run right here on the corner exit, ran the high line. What's he going to do here? Follows Chase Elliott. See right there, Denny gives up a little bit of speed on corner entry, turns a little bit early, tries to get clean air on the nose, back to the throttle, but that momentum off of 4. This is where I think the 11 of Hamlin can hang a left. There you go. Drive deep in the corner. There's good grip down here on the bottom of the racetrack.
And in both of their rear view mirrors and the rear facing cameras is Christopher Bell, only 1 second back. Top 5 positions filled by playoff drivers.
This 1 and 2 is going to be a decision maker. Traffic in front for the 9. The 11 with a little bit of a run. Where does the 9 think the traffic's going to go? Are they going to leave him the top, or is he going to have to run the bottom?
Again, Hamlin looks on that lower side. There's the traffic up ahead. Daniel Hemrick is the first one that they're going to encounter. Then Eric Jones, I think it is. And Corey LaJoie, they're the 3 that they're coming up on.
And they're coming to 10 to go in the stage. These guys are not going to pull over for them. They're going to fight hard to stay in the lead lap.
Here we go. Hamlin had a good run that time. Is he going to be able to do anything into 1 this time?
Chase Elliott gave him something different to look at. Went to the bottom of the racetrack, now slides up in front of him. That's a great move by Chase Elliott. It's one of those racetracks you can run different lines. Do not do the same thing every lap to show him what you're doing.
Fight for 3rd in the bottom box. Bell trying to hold off stage 1 winner, Tyler Reddick. Again, Hamlin super close.
This is the chance right here. Lap car on the bottom. That prohibits Hamlin from going where he really wanted to go.
And you're like, yeah, maybe this is not for the end of the race. This is not for the race win, but it is for the stage win. You could miss out on the championship 4 by 1 single point. Every position, every pass matters. Here goes Hamlin. right alongside Chase Elliott and grabs the lead of this race for the first time in a long while.
It's not over yet.
Look how close this is as Elliott goes right around on the fence.
Now Hamlin side by side. Now he's just got to take this spot. Grip on the bottom of the racetrack, overdrive the entry, slide up in front of the 9 car. Chase Elliott not having it.
8 to go. What a fight for the lead.
Nice job, keep fighting, coming back to 7 more.
Keep fighting is the appropriate phrase. These two guys are putting on quite the display. Hamlin led for 7 today. Elliott has led for 64, a race lead high.
Big run for the 11. That high entrance allowed him to turn down the middle. He has momentum down the back stretch.
The last time he did this into 3, he entered high. Let's see if he goes to the bottom. Does not.
And this is where Chase Elliott said, I'm okay, I'm comfortable. I'll fight you up here and regain the lead of the race. But Hamlin's in a different position this time.
He didn't overdrive the middle this time. He's trying to stay right on the corner panel. Now the 11 turns down. This is the slide. Now he's going to come up in front of the 9. It took multiple laps, but Hamlin completes the pass. Now run the top if you're Denny. Put it right against the wall. Not let the 9 have any air. Make him run down the racetrack. Really well done. Really well done. Now the 9 instantly has to look in his mirror as Bell and Reddick appear. And Hamlin has to navigate the traffic in front with 5 to go.
Final 5 laps of stage 2 here in the Straight Talk 400. Lots of traffic up ahead for Denny Hamlin to negotiate, while keeping a watchful eye on Chase Elliott.
Yeah, this stage win's not over because you mentioned all that lap traffic, and most of them are running the lane that Denny Hamlin wants to run in right against the wall in 3 and 4.
Eric Jones, Corey LaJoie. Daniel Hemrick's been able to leapfrog both those guys. Then John Hunter Nemechek's the next one further up the track. Here goes Hamlin on Jones first. 4 to go. 1 done. Corey LaJoie's the next on his list.
This end of the racetrack is more difficult, but without Chase Elliott right on the rear bumper, it allows Denny Hamlin some patience. He doesn't have to push the issue right here. He can just stay close to the car in front of him and then make the pass down to 1 and 2. That right there is the experience of Denny Hamlin.
The battle has heated up for 2nd and 3rd, though. Bell got to the rear bumper of the 9. That allowed Reddick to pop out. Bell doesn't now know if he's playing offense or defense. Reddick is hoping he can get both of them in the last 3 laps.
Bell will be trying to get the 9. Look how close that is. Tyler Reddick, stage 1 winner. Championship hopeful. Man who's won the last 3 stage 1s in a row. Meanwhile, up top box, Denny Hamlin gets by Corey LaJoie, who's coming off his best result for Rick Ware Racing in Las Vegas of a top 15. That was a nice one for him. Look at these 3 fight it out. 2 to go for Hamlin. Who's going to win this individual fight here for 2nd?
Big wiggle out of the 20. He's able to stay in the gas, though. I like the 45. He commits to the top. This is all be about corner exit speed for the 45.
That 9 car is loose. Chase Elliott has his hands full. He is doing a really good job holding these guys off.
Reddick's not done with yet. Look at the 45 down low. Hamlin is within 1.5 miles of a stage win. The first in 12 races for him. Coming at the most appropriate time.
And remember, Denny Hamlin pushing hard to get this lead. Some of that has to do with the lack of confidence in that pit crew. They have had a very difficult time in the playoffs. You want to be as far forward as you can coming on the pit road in case your guys don't have a great stop.
This is a good fight for 2nd. There is nobody close to Hamlin for the win of the stage. Denny, you may be surprised that you're still in the playoffs, but now you've helped your position even more. Hamlin Hamlin wins stage 2 here in Miami.
And Reddick getting trapped on the bottom cost him the position with Bell. Bell was able to beat him to the line with the momentum.
Super valuable points going the way of the Joe Gibbs Racing number 11, Denny Hamlin. 7th stage win of the year, but maybe his most important one. That was huge. He had to come back from some 7 seconds behind Chase Elliott to get that, catch him and pass him and head on out and get the stage win in the Straight Talk 400. NBC Sports coverage of NASCAR is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. Visit progressive.com. And by Straight Talk Wireless. Real unlimited data for fans of Fast, official partner of NASCAR. And if you're a fan of Fast, you will have enjoyed that second stage. Quality of racing was very high. Some good battles, good comebacks. Larson has worked his way up into the top 15. Hamlin worked his way to the lead and ultimately the stage victory. And that helps big time Kim Kuhn in the championship playoffs picture.
Yeah, and for that blue and gold Napa 9 card of Chase Elliott, you see top left, he said the car's still okay, but the first thing that goes is my front end, but it's better than the run before. He said, I don't want to free it up and take the back end out of the racetrack. No changes on that, just tires and fuel, Marty.
Christopher Bell, 13 stage points today, the 4th most. The long run so strong for this team. He's pretty happy with it. We'll see if the #1 pit crew can gain him any spots, Dave.
Kyle Reddick said that it was better balance-wise on the 45 car that time. For stage winner Denny Hamlin, freer on the exit, still a little tight center, and on the long run, a little snappy on exit. He'll be a little snappy after this. He lost the lead there, Lee.
Good work from the 9 team. Bell as well gaining a spot. And Blaney continues his strong day. We are in the round of 8, and these 8 have been quality in 2024. They've got one thing on their mind, being a champion at the end of this season. Phoenix, 2 weeks' time. The only one smiling at the moment is Joey Logano, who's the only one locked in to the championship 4. If you've ever wondered what the big deal about Miami is, that kind of tells you right there just how beautiful it is, the beaches, the fashion, the restaurants, just the places to see and visit, the general atmosphere down here. It's pretty amazing. So put it on your to visit list or to return to list, because it sure is fun. Some of the drivers have said, hey, we wish we could come here more than just once a year. We are in championship discussion mode, and down the bottom, right down the very bottom, you see Joey Logano highlighted in yellow because he is locked in. He is going back to fight for a championship. And I want to bring in our Hall of Famer, Dale Jarrett. DJ, you're a champion. Your dad's a two-time champion. You're both Hall of Famers. You know, your whole family knows what being a champion in this sport is all about. What do you think Joey's thinking about that opportunity to join a very select group of having 3 or more titles?
Yeah, I think Joey understands exactly the position that Paul Wolf and this team has helped put him in. And, you know, he doesn't need any more credentials to be a Hall of Famer when he retires from this. But what it does is put that, you saw that list. There's only going to be 4 other drivers, if he can win the championship in 2 weeks, that have more championships than what he does. And that's just something that you'll always have. And I just love the fact that Paul Wolf, his crew chief, knows how to put the things in Joey Logano's hands. He might not have the fastest car when he gets to Phoenix, but what he will do is have an opportunity on a late race restart or some type of strategy to put it in the driver's hands who knows how to make things happen at the end when it really counts.
Changes your life, doesn't it? When you become a champion, changes your life.
It does. It takes, you know, puts you just in a different company, you know, and a feeling of accomplishment as a driver and a competitor. And there's just not a feeling like it. You know, almost 25 years here, coming up November 14th is where I
Your anniversary?
Secured my championship right here. We still had a race to go, but very fortunate, and I'll never forget what that feeling was like.
Well, the pathway for those other 7 drivers other than Logano, who you mentioned, who's already locked in, is how do you advance out of this round? And it's interesting. Look, Elliott first, Bell second, Hamlin third. You see them. They're stacked up at the front. Larson recovered all the way to 11th. So when you look at the points, right, with the 9 leading, he's an automatic berth. Bell and Byron right there, but Larson only 5 points behind, about a 96-lap run. Jeff, math says you may pit twice versus just once. How these playoff drivers handle this restart and this long run is going to be interesting.
There were 4 guys, Hamlin, Reddick, Blaney, Elliott, that all needed the win coming in here to go to Phoenix with a chance to win the championship, and all 4 of them have put them in themselves in position to make it happen.
All right, ready to go back to work for the 3rd and final stage of the Straight Talk 400. Let's do it. Last restart was really racy, very entertaining. Look at young Carson Hocevar in there in that yellow and black car as Elliott and Bell go for it at the front. Blaney down on the low side.
Bell got a great run to the middle of the corner on the outside. Chase Elliott fighting back. He's going to go right to the bottom.
If you're a Chase Elliott fan and you're wanting your man to be a 2-time champ, he's never led this many laps in a race this year. Is this about to be 70? No, Bell will beat him to the line. But Elliott has led 69 laps today and is in contention for an all-important win that would lock him into the championship 4.
Keep your eye on that 12 car, because earlier in this race, he could not take off on a restart. That one he could. So they have made the adjustments they needed to make for him to have takeoff speed.
How's it working on that low line? That looked pretty good for Ryan Blaney. He's ahead of Bell, and he's right on the inside of race leader Chase Elliott. This is what we ordered today, to see the playoff guys all grouped together at the front of this race, fighting it out, Steve, for a race win and a position lock.
Yeah, the 7 drivers not locked in are inside the top 9, with Larson being the furthest back. Blaney clears Elliott, will take the clear lead. Hamlin, Reddick get in line as well, as Byron is inside the 77 of Hocevar. $92 laps to go. Jeff, you said at the beginning of the race, how hard do you push your tires? If you're only planning to stop once, this would be 2 very long runs. As a crew chief, I have to keep you in the loop as we see Elliott dive to the bottom of the racetrack.
And the 3 manufacturers that race in the NASCAR Cup Series are represented in the top 3 positions: Ford, Chevrolet, and Toyota. Remember, these 2 guys had contact, slight contact down the back straight earlier, Jeff, and Ryan Blaney was none too pleased.
Well, it'll be the same opportunity to do it again. See Chase Elliott chasing him down the racetrack, trying to side draft him a little bit.
Steve, how fascinated are you as far as the pit cycle? Who's going to go on the shorter side? Who's going to go on the longer side? Where do you think it's going to play to whose advantage?
It's going to be very interesting to see who drives the pit cycle. Remember, Hamlin, Chris Gabehart stuck to their guns and ran 10 laps longer. That is excruciatingly painful while it's happening, but the pressure tires paid off. Has everyone seen that? Will there be a counter or an adjustment to the strategy? And they're all going to know, because now, other than Hocevar right there at the bottom in that yellow and black 77, every other car in the top 8 are playoff drivers.
I'm going to say, even though he finished top 3 at Watkins Glen, I'm going to say Carson Hocevar is going to mark this one down as the race of his Cup career. Jeff, he's up there with the big dogs, the big names, and running consistently in that front group.
Yeah, and all the playoff guys, right? They bring, when you're in the playoffs, you're bringing your very best. The battle continues for the lead.
The 2023 champion and the 2020 champion going at it blow for blow, move for move. 89 laps to go here in Miami. Again, Elliott cycles back to the front.
Jeff, you asked earlier, what about if you're crew chief Luke Lambert on the 77? I think this is the point where I still believe in my driver, and you have every right to be up here, but I would remind him, they're all playoff drivers. You have a long career ahead of you. You deserve to be here. We're fast enough to be here. Just be very deliberate with your moves. Make sure they know where you're going.
And how about in the back of the screen, on the bottom, the 5 of Kyle Larson.
Knock, knock, who's there?
So much trouble early in the race. Concerned they had problems with their car, damage, but continue to go forward.
There's a fair bit of fire and drive inside that helmet as well. There was a lot of frustration. And you heard earlier the voice of Cliff Daniels, the crew chief for the 5, saying to Kyle Larson, we are making great progress. We think it's more you than the car, so well done. Keep doing what you're doing. And Larson has driven from way at the back of this field to now be fighting for a top 5.
Yeah, trying to get by Hamlin. You know, Hamlin essentially restarted 4th on that restart, 2nd row outside line. Larson trying to take the spot. I think the strength of Hamlin's car is a long run. So even though he gave up spots on the restart, it doesn't mean that he's not in position to win this race. We saw him early in the race have good long run speed. As long as they kept up with the changes on the racetrack to make this car drive well, he's not out of this.
And I like this version of Kyle Larson. So much is made about his race management. You see some wrecks and some mistakes. And I think it's too much conversation. I would much rather have a Kyle Larson on the loud pedal going forward. That's what he's known for. I don't care if he's in a stock car, a sprint car, an Indy car. I like an aggressive Kyle Larson.
2024, race wins matter. That's what matters.
Let's talk more about Larson. Here's Marty.
Yeah, Lee, this actually reminds me of the Las Vegas race last week for Kyle Larson. Let's go back to that. Remember, they got some debris in the nose of the car. They had to fix that. Then they had a problem on a pit stop. They went 2 laps down in that race, Lee, but made speed late in the run. They finished 11th at Las Vegas, but today they've had issues all day long. Once they got that flat right rear, Lee, he has raced his way back into the top 5, or actually top 6. Kyle Larson sitting in 6th right now. Who would have thought that earlier in the race?
So, Marty, he was down as low as 35th, and the reason why, for those of you just joining us late, this was earlier today in the first stage. Had a tire going down, and as Jeff said, fortunately, he was up nice and snug to the wall, so slapped the wall, had to dive for pit road, and brought out a caution because of the tire carcass leaving the 5. And the 5 team went to work, and again, from 35th over the evolution of the remaining laps in stage 1, all of stage 2, and now here in stage 3, 35th to 6th. What a comeback.
racing is everywhere. You have to have 100 cameras. I mean, the 9, the 12, the 11, the 5, battles all over the racetrack.
What are you going for, your bifocals or your binoculars?
Well, I'm still young enough that the binoculars work. The bifocals are more for you guys in case those close-up pictures wouldn't see it.
Or whatever Larson has, he has a eyeballs full of the 11 car. I can tell you that down the front straightaway.
That's 30 positions gained from his worst spot back up to the top 5 in the final stage. You won't miss anything. Here we go.
Under caution here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Top left, Chase Elliott. He said he's just tight to fire up, but does not want to take the back end out of the race car. So just a little bit of air pressure adjustment on those Goodyear tires, Marty.
Ryan Blaney's team has gained him a collective 4 spots on pit road. Let's see if they can do it here. He said he was better after that last adjustment. Really good. In fact, Christopher Bell said he just needs a little bit more turn, Dave.
No changes on the 45 except adding fresh tires and fuel. Can he gain positions on pit road? Does not appear so. He stays the same.
Blaney got the edge on Elliott off pit road. Bell, Reddick, Larson stay the same. Hocevar grab 2. And the reason why we are under caution, watch this. Ty Gibbs, Justin Haley. And there it goes. Haley for the second time in this race, spinning down into turn 3. He got a little help that time though. You know, you can represent your favorite driver during the playoffs and take advantage of amazing deals at the NASCAR shop. Check out the greatest selection of t-shirts, die-casts, whatever you're looking for. It's all there. Visit NASCAR.com/shop. Inside the 99 machine of Daniel Suarez, we're under caution for that collision between Ty Gibbs and Justin Haley. Let's talk more about this Monster 54 with Kim Kuhn. Kimmy?
Well, yeah, before that issue, there was a bigger issue for Ty Gibbs. He has a gearbox problem. At first, he thought he had no gears at all. Then he said he was stuck in fifth. They told him, don't shift and do any more damage to what's already in there. Now they've determined he's just missing fourth gear, so he's having to go 2, 3 to 5.
Yeah, that wasn't exactly a pretty sound.
No. So the guys behind him, the spotters need to be communicating, hey, he has no fourth gear. He's going to have to go from third gear to fifth, so he's not going to accelerate well down this front straightaway. And now with only 76 to go and they drop the green flag, Steve, track position matters more and more as this race wears down.
Traveler Whiskey, thank you very much for bringing us this extended aerial coverage of the race today, the Straight Talk 400. This has been a representation of the quality and the caliber of playoff racing you hoped for and we hoped for. Back to racing. Ryan Blaney grabbed a spot, gained a position on pit road, on that race off pit road, and he leads. But Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott, and Kyle Larson, yes, Kyle Larson from 35th is now pushing his way into the top 3. This is going to be one of these stories of this race today when the checkered flag falls. Blaney, Elliott, Bell, Reddick, Larson, William Byron, and Denny Hamlin. The only playoff driver that is not in this mix is the guy who's already got a ticket to Phoenix, Joey Logano. He's further back in the pack, but it doesn't matter. There's no stress, there's no pressure. It's all to play for here up front.
Look at all the different options. Front 2 guys right on the bottom of the racetrack. 3rd and 4th in the middle. Reddick trying to get on the outside of William Byron here.
Close call, we understand, between Corey LaJoie and Ty Gibbs as Justin Haley went whipping on by. Let's have a look at what went down between these guys. Whoa.
Wow.
Todd Gilliland, good job to avoid the 54 of Ty Gibbs as well. And this may be the end of the day for the 54. We will see.
How about Christopher Bell taking the battle to Blaney, dominating race car last week, did not get the win, so disappointed. In position again to win back-to-back weeks.
And back-to-back races. He's the defending race winner here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, Christopher Bell. That green Toyota. Meanwhile, Reddick and Larson going at it.
That move by Larson, he kind of checked up and ran the bottom to try to block the 45. It was quite the move.
And here comes his teammate to give him a little shove. William Byron joins the picture. Hamlin up high, Hocevar down low.
With the 11 of Hamlin, I think he just needs this thing to run green to have a real chance. His car seems to get better the longer they run, but time is lost right at the beginning of these races, or these runs.
You lose a few spots on pit road, you lose a few spots on restart, and all of a sudden you're running 7th.
And if you look in that bottom box, in the background, you will eventually see AJ Allmendinger join the picture. The Dinger, who was already locked into the NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship 4, has raced his way from 32nd position on the grid into the top 10. What a run from AJ.
To your point, Steve, this is when This 11 car needs to light off. It needs to get going. He's got to get some track position. And it's the time of the run where his car has been the best.
Meanwhile, Ryan Blaney has just a little bit over half a second advantage over Chase Elliott. And there's this group that is racing fiercely. Bell's got a buffer back to Larson and Byron and Reddick.
The lines through 1 and 2 this weekend has been more unorthodox than any race I've ever seen. The 45 just did a 3-lane swap in the middle of the corner. I don't ever remember seeing that here.
Yeah, we came here thinking everybody was just going to be right against the wall, and we've seen them everywhere.
Reddick pushes his way on the low side of William Byron. Can he clear it? Not yet. They're side by side.
Watch this move down here, though. Tyler Reddick with forward momentum into 3. Watch this. He is going to drive it way down in the corner. Watch what he does on corner exit. Just hooks the line. Now he's going to slide up in front.
Lovely job. William Byron doesn't want anything of it. Byron says, I'll see that, and I'll try and play you back.
The goal here is just for Reddick to be able to stay alongside of him. If he does, he'll have the preferred spot and should make the pass. There you go.
200 down, 67 laps left here in the Straight Talk 400 Homestead-Miami Speedway. Second race in the round of 8. Tyler Reddick won stage 1. Denny Hamlin had a much-needed stage win in stage 2. But who's going to get the all-important victory and lock themselves in to Phoenix? Can you imagine if Kyle Larson can come back from 35th and win this race? Marty, it's 1.7 seconds from race leader Blaney to Larson in 4th.
Yeah, just an unbelievable comeback for Kyle Larson and this entire 5 team as he gets another spot here, passing his teammate or trying to Chase Elliott for the 2nd position. And with the game on the line, it's a new game right now for Kyle Larson. But Jeff, my question is, take me behind the wheel. Larson has spent the majority of this race racing 20th on down. How different is the game for Larson behind the wheel now that he's in the top 5?
Oh, the car drives so much better at the front of this pack. It is even with, you know, he talked about the car maybe having damage. You get back in the pack and the car drives like it has damage, and now he's up front, and it may not be perfect, but it is way better than it was when he was back there running 25th.
Let's have a look at some key numbers. Progressive telemetry will bring it to you. Look to the bottom left here. Continually chipping away on Chase Elliott.
Right against the wall, inches away from it. There's such an art to that. It is feel. It's the use of your pedals, steering wheel, and it's all based on what you're feeling. The seeing part of it is real, and it is, you're looking to the wall off the right side, but you can feel the car close to the wall. As the car gets closer, the air actually stacks in there, and it creates a little bit of a buffer. And the best drivers can feel that.
And you may have noticed on that progressive telemetry that he ended turn 1 at 180 miles an hour while glued to the fence. Let's talk more about Chase Elliott, Kim.
Yeah, remember, he's in a must-win situation. Right now, his teammate, Kyle Larson, breathing down his neck. Here's what his team is telling him on the radio.
All good. He's not above slide you, and he's not a teammate right now.
So you heard it, Trey Poole telling him he is not a teammate right now. So Chase Elliott just looking for that win here at Homestead-Miami Speedway.
Every driver for themselves.
As it should be. At this point in the season, I understand we saw Blaney and Logano work together a week ago when one was out of the race. But when you're running for position inside the top 5, it needs to be every driver for his team. And I don't mean Hendrick. I mean the 5 car or the 9 car. You have a group of men and women that work on your car that you have to go look in the face after your performance and your sponsors, and you want to get it done.
And we are edging ever so close to getting in the neighborhood of some stops starting to happen soon. Who's going to play it differently? Who will play the lead follow? Have a look at that. 27 lead changes today, a track record. It has been quite the race. That's what the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs are all about. .56 laps to go in this Straight Talk 400. What a day it's been here in Florida. And could it be the day that this man here, the reigning Cup Series champion, Ryan Blaney, races his way into the championship 4? Well, it's appropriate he's on screen because he has the Xfinity fastest lap of this race. He locked himself in last year at Martinsville. It was the first time that he made the championship 4, and he converted. He came away with the Cup title. Could he do it again, but not have to wait until Martinsville? Let's talk more about the Team Penske Ford. Here's Marty Snyder.
About to be 54 laps to go, Lee, and right now Team Penske and Ryan Blaney have control of the race. So if you divided up this last run, it would be 2 37-lap runs. But Steve, take me inside your playbook here on top of the pit box. All day long, Jonathan Hassler has been aggressive. He's been pretty much the first playoff driver and crew to come to pit road early in a run. If you're Hassler, do you split it in half, or do you play that same strategy? It has worked for them in stage 1 and 2. Would you do it again?
Well, the problem is I think it worked better for Denny Hamlin in stage 2, who split it closer to half and then was able to drive up and take the lead and win the stage. This will be a little bit shorter run than that run, but I believe if you're the 12 car, you just want to stretch your lead. If you can get a big enough lead over the 9, then you don't have to be first to pit road. You can let someone else play their hand and you can counter. The problem is at under 2 seconds, if the 9 comes to pit road and you come the next lap, the 9 will be the leader. That's really the challenge here. It's a little bit of a cat and mouse, but I expect pit stops, the front wave to be in about 7 or 8 laps and others to wait almost 15 or 16 laps.
There's the Coke on board for Chase Elliott. 1.1 seconds in arrears of the race leader. I just want to go back to something Marty mentioned before talking about crew chief Jonathan Hassler. He said earlier this week, he just said, we have constantly improved on our intermediate track package. And he said, we got to see that at Kansas, and despite last weekend's misfortune in Las Vegas, we are going to go to Homestead-Miami Speedway with a lot of optimism and a lot of confidence. And we are seeing that right here in front of us now.
I'm amazed that, think about Penske, how they've won the last 2 championships. Really, during the regular season, they don't look great. The playoffs start, they get really, really good. And here, we saw it with Logano, very, very smart race to lock himself in. Now Blaney in a great position to lock himself in.
And think about the seesaw, Steve, of the scope of the season. To begin with, Ford was nowhere. Ford wasn't where it wanted to be, right? Ford is the first to lock itself in to the championship 4.
I feel like we've seen this with the last couple championships, right? That is the recipe, as you said, Jeff, to get fast at this time of the year.
50 to go here in Miami.
Someone's going to show their hand first. The question is who?
I think it's got to be Hamlin. I know he's faster, you know, for his strategy, Steve, better on long runs, but he's so far back, and he can't trust his pit crew to have the pit stop he needs.
Kim?
And here's the 23 of Bubba Wallace, the front end not doing what he wants. He also is having trouble with the glare, he said, Dave.
Brad Keselowski on pit road for tires and fuel. Good recovery from practice where they unloaded poorly, according to crew chief Matt McCall. Made a lot of adjustments. Big swing for today. It's been a much better race than it was practice and qualifying for Keselowski.
So he's done, hopefully for the final time. Consumer Cellular onboard shows you a great view just of that scope of pit exit and rejoining the racing surface. When will this man come to pit road? William Byron is showing what his intentions are. Been a good day for the 24 team. Kim?
You know, it's been a good day for them, but it's been a good day for all the playoff drivers. They currently, as they run, find themselves below that cut line. Williams saying it is just too tight. I cannot turn. I can't go any faster. They will take a slight adjustment as they put on 4 fresh Goodyear tires. No big deal. You saw that chassis wrench in the back of that race car.
And to think that Williams started 25th and has been running in the front pack the majority of the day. It's been quite the day. Same for race leader Ryan Blaney from 20th to lead. Here we go. Action on pit road. The teammates. It's Elliott ahead of Larson. Here they come, Kimmy.
And remember, Chase Elliott was told, do not consider him a teammate. Don't give him any grace. So Chase Elliott will pull it in. Really no major complaints all day. The smallest thing he's complained about is just a little bit snug. So 4 fresh Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel. Marty as his teammate or not teammate to make his pit stop.
Yeah, both of these Hendrick Motorsports cars coming to pit road. So they show their hand first. The first playoff drivers to come to pit road. Larson with no complaints during that run. They pit here with 47 laps to go. Meanwhile, Ryan Blaney barely gets on pit road. A little bit free there coming onto pit road. Blaney said, I need just a little bit of help, just some more rear security. He said the car is absolutely terrific. Meanwhile, Christopher Bell also coming down pit road. He said, I definitely get better the longer we run. So pitting on the early side with 46 to go, that will play to their favor here. He said, I just need a little bit more turn late in the run, late in the corner, I should say.
The 20 team had 2 incredible stops earlier today.
So the question now is, of the cars that have pitted, who will maintain control? It should be Blaney, I would have thought, but the 9 and the 5 did come to pit road a lap earlier. They're on the banking, the 12's on the access road.
This is going
to be very close. I think the 9 will easily go by. The question is, will the 5 go by as well? Once again, green flag cycle, the 9 of Elliott to the lead of the green flag pitted cars, the 5 of Larson. Got to try to get by as well.
Reddick, Hamlin staying out.
And I like this call for the 11. Jeff, I know you said he could come early because he was so far back, but earlier in the race, the 11 ran long, got a 10-lap advantage on tires. That was the difference.
The concern for me with the 11 is the 45's playing the same game, and I think Reddick has more speed than the 11 car. It's going to boil down to who can have the best pit stops, and I do not have confidence on the 11 pit.
So I'm the opposite. I don't have confidence for pit stall 1. I think the 11 can flip Reddick out of pit stall 1.
Look at this, look at this. Blaney is now up to speed, and he's taking the fight to Chase Elliott. Look at that, nice move.
And that will be the race win unless something changes with the strategy. Remember, cars that have pitted right now, Blaney just passed Elliott. He's the first car on fresh tires. Let's listen into the 45 and their plan.
Man, bed's made here. Only chance is to get a yellow somewhere between here and then when we run out of gas.
So he's going to run all the way out on this run and hope for the Hail Mary yellow. I think the 11 may not have to do that. I think he can run like 6 or 7 laps and then come get fresher tires and run them back down. I like Billy Scott's plan, though. He said, hey, we couldn't win from there, and we weren't the first car on pit road. So I think you might have a differing opinion here. The 45 of Reddick can probably run another 30 laps on fuel, maybe even 33 laps on fuel. Can't go to the finish. The question is, will Hamlin come in, get tires, and just try to run those cars down?
And it shows you their mindset. They feel like if they're going to advance in the playoffs, they have to win, right? If you think about it, no playoff drivers have had a bad day. So no one's opened the door to say, hey, we might could point ourselves in.
So let's just set the stage. We have this whole group up here who have yet to come to pit road. It's going to have to play out to see what works best. The race for the win currently is down here. Blaney, Elliott, Larson, Bell, Byron, those cars have pitted. They can make it on fuel. They are racing. They can't worry about Reddick and Hamlin. That has nothing to do with them at the moment. They have to race each other like that is for the race win.
Bell executes that move nicely on William Byron. 41 laps to go here in Miami. We got differing strategies with it all to play for. Somebody is going to get locked in to the championship 4. JJ Yaley slow.
You see the damage on the right side wheels. If he's unable to get back, this could be the absolute lotto ticket that the 45 needs.
If it won't make it around, just turn behind the wall.
There you go. They're giving him instructions. There's opening on the backstretch. Doing a nice job of not being part of this conversation. 37 laps on the tires, 40 laps to go. So if the 11 of Denny Hamlin is going to make a strategy call for fresh tires, I would imagine it'll be the next lap or 2. He's currently about 15 car lengths behind Reddick. Will Hamlin play that strategy of fresh tires and try to run them down? 39 to go. Next lap by will be dead split in the middle on the run. That will kind of tell the tale for the 11.
That strategy won stage 2, Steve.
The difference was he had 10 lap fresher tires there. This would be, well, this would be 9 lap fresher. So really the same idea, 8 lap fresher. Big decision for the 11. Will he run the bottom? We'll have a good idea. If he runs the top, he is 11, bottom of the racetrack. Green flag, 4 fresh tires for 11 of Hamlin. Same strategy as before. First thing he has to do, get on pit road without an issue. Next, a pit stop. If the 11 team is going to deliver, now is the time. This could be Denny Hamlin playoff hopes here at Miami.
Dave, it worked in stage 2. Let's see how it's going to work here in the all-important 3rd stage.
Same strategy, and they had to coach Denny a little bit today on getting into his box exactly where they needed him to be. So that's on the driver as well. Let's see if he does it here solidly into his pit stall, does not skid the tires. What kind of a time will this be for him as people continue to pit here? Tyler Reddick continues to play out this long fuel strategy here. For Hamlin, he's gone now.
The problem for Hamlin is he was about 7 seconds back when this worked before. Ryan Blaney is already on the backstretch, so he is going to be more like 14 or 15 seconds back of the 12 car. I just don't know in 37 laps if he can make that gap up, but that's why we run the race.
So Denny has just got on the back straight, and Blaney's coming on the front stretch. That's the difference, Dave.
On pit road, Joey Logano, nothing in the front, nothing in the rear. He was very unhappy with his race car. He'll get 4 tires and fuel.
The other big difference is, remember last time the 11 dropped out in absolute clean air. He had a perfect racetrack. Now he has traffic in front, which is going to hurt the Goodyears. Running the bottom, grinding the rubber off those front tires, trying to make that corner.
Able to clear.
He's so far back, though, there's no saving, right? You not managing tires whatsoever. you essentially got 35 qualifying laps you got to go make.
First task, unlap yourself. First task, run the 45 down and unlap yourself. That way, if a yellow comes out, you're in the mix with only a few cars on the lead lap. So if Reddick does get lucky enough to get that yellow, you have a chance. There you go, task at hand. He's passing the 45 right here to unlap himself. 14 seconds back for Hamlin. It's going to be a heck of a drive. We've seen it at Darlington work. We've seen him do it at Richmond. Can he pull that same sort of magic off here at Miami?
This kills Jeff when I tell you that you're correct, Stevie, but that on-the-fly math was pretty impressive. You said 14 seconds.
I've made a lot of bad calls. I know it looks like to be 14 seconds behind.
You don't have to tell me he can do math. I can promise you that. He's the smartest guy I've ever worked with.
33.5 for Hamlin. Blaney 34, so half a second faster. Will there be enough time?
Chase is on, very much like it was last weekend. The race is on here in Miami to lock the next driver into the championship 4. Who will it be? We have this beautiful perspective of Homestead-Miami Speedway. Today's aerial coverage brought to you by Traveller Whiskey. Is a caution going to come out that will be a golden pass to Tyler Reddick, who's still at the front of this pack in the 45. There he is in his 2311 Toyota Camry. Has not come in like everybody else. Or is it going to work for Denny Hamlin, who is on the charge?
So the 45 of Reddick is basically hoping for a yellow. He can't make it to the finish. He has a 14-second lead, giving up about a second a lap. He is looking for the lotto ticket, the scratch-off winner, a car in the fence, a yellow, and all the cars on the track will have to pit, including Reddick. Hopefully he can keep the lead on the pit cycle. Behind Reddick, we have Ryan Blaney, who's out here. He's on 20-lap tires. He's trying to run as fast as he can run while keeping the lead, because behind him is Larson and Bell. So for Blaney, this is all about running fast enough to hold off new tires. It's a race with Larson behind him, Jeff.
The problem is Blaney's in the middle of all this traffic. So he is on old tires. He's going to go slower already, but Hamlin in completely clean air. He is laying lap time down. He is way faster, almost a second faster lap because Blaney is stuck in the middle of all this traffic.
So there's really 3 distinct plans. A caution helps the 45. Good, clean track is trying to help the 12 of Blaney. And for the 11 of Hamlin, can 9-lap fresher tires run down all these cars for the lead?
Well, he's done it from 14 seconds down to 8 seconds is the gap now. This is very emblematic of last weekend.
And this is Hamlin's signature. I say it again. Darlington, they always run long. Richmond, they always run long. There's something about Denny's mentality. He loves to be the aggressor, the chaser, not the defender. He wants to go see the positions and go get them.
This Mavis Tire Toyota, Jeff, has been flying. Winner of the second stage. Can he catch these front guys?
And he is getting a ton of information. This is the problem Blaney has. He has been trying to get by Ross Chastain. Finally underneath him, he's got to make this pass, and behind him is Kyle Larson. If Blaney can get by the 51, and he does, that is a major move right there, because now he has a good quarter of a straightaway before the next guy. Good clean air is going to help his lap time.
And Larson's thinking, I don't know about Hamlin, I don't know about Reddick, but I want to pass Blaney. I want to go up here and win the race if this is the correct pit strategy.
And if they start racing each other, they will get slower, and that will help Hamlin.
6.5 seconds from Blaney to Hamlin. The gap keeps coming down.
And in big chunks, Diff. Half a second, 1 second a lap. Let's see what this clean air lap is for Blaney. That'll tell the tale.
Let's not forget about this incredible comeback from Kyle Larson and the 5 team at Hendrick Motorsports. At one point in this race was 35th. He's now racing in 3rd, kind of almost sort of 2nd, depending on how things work out for Tyler Reddick.
Oh, the 5 just had a little issue there in the middle of the corner. I wasn't sure what happened. It looked like he either slowed down or hit the wall, but he gave up a big chunk of time.
All right, this is where Blaney's got to make lap time. Larson as well.
There you go. Hamlin, Blaney, same lap time. That's not going to work for Denny Hamlin. Doesn't have the pace in the Toyota with Blaney in clean air, Hamlin in clean air. So equal to equal, the math says no go for the 11th car.
Oh, this just happened to Denny Hamlin.
Just looking for speed. A little bit of contact. That's why that lap time was down.
That's right. Risk versus reward. Guess what? If there's 3 more inches to take, now's the time to take it. Remember, Hamlin came in below the cut line, Dave. He's thinking this is a must-win.
Yeah, the math that he had to do has never worked out for someone this late in the year trying to make the championship 4. So Chris Gabehart, the crew chief, knows that he's got to get his driver to the lead, to the win, either this week or next. Listen.
Keep digging. I can wait no time. Every car we got to go right by.
Cracking the whip, trying to keep him encouraged, trying to keep him motivated, and trying to get him to the front of this field.
And he's stabilized, Dave. It's down back to 6.5 seconds is the gap from Blaney to Hamlin.
Now Hamlin has the problem. He now has caught traffic. 51 car moving out of his way, being respectful, but see what he has to go through.
But will they fight him as hard as the leader? Normally not. Normally you fight the leader to stay on the lead lap. Hamlin's hope is that Larson and Blaney start duking it out up here side by side.
It's a good chance they will.
Yes, for sure. I love Chris Gabehart because he didn't tell Hamlin what to do or how to do it. He just stated a fact. We can waste no time. This is what has to happen.
All right, so let's look at lap times here. Blaney, a 34.50. Denny Hamlin coming across the line, 34.50. That is not enough lap time.
6 seconds, 6.2 seconds from Blaney to Hamlin. Meanwhile, when you look at the graphics for the overall running order, Tyler Reddick cannot make it on this load of gas. He will have to come to the pits in the next 21 laps unless a caution comes out.
So there you go. On the bottom right of your screen, the 45 leading, running much slower laps. Diff just pointed out also needs fuel. The next car in line on this graphic, the 12 of Blaney. First car with enough fuel to make it to the finish. He's battling Larson, Elliott, Bell, and then Hamlin. We put Hamlin here because he has the freshest tires as he works around Byron. That's helping this attack out of Hamlin. 20 laps is a long time. One little touch of the wall by anyone can make a difference.
Let's give a shout out to the lead non-playoff driver in the Cup Series, that is, AJ Allmendinger, 32nd to 8th. The Dingers had a great weekend here in Miami. Last weekend in Vegas, he locked his way in to the Championship 4 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. So he's cruising, Jeff. He's cruising the next couple of weeks to Phoenix.
Yeah, he's excited about his opportunity. See Christopher Bell taking a fight to Chase Elliott. Christopher Bell so far today, he's kind of had the day he really needed to have. Nothing great. Has gotten stage points. He came in here in pretty good shape on points, and he just didn't want to have a bad day. He didn't need great. He just needed solid.
So while Hamlin has got by Byron, that gap is still stabilized at around about 6 seconds from Blaney to Hamlin. Can Hamlin do something magical here over the last 18 laps while Kyle Larson turns up the heat on Ryan Blaney?
Kyle Larson is at his best under full attack. Dirt car, Indy cars, sprint car, cup car. This is his move. This is a great battle. We knew he had it with these 8 drivers. Logano shocked us all a week ago. We just knew this is the type of performance it was going to take by all of these guys. I mean, look at them. They're 1 through 7.
What about the juxtaposition of these two? Kyle Larson started on the front row, and look at this. 3 wide, 3 playoff drivers. Hamlin, his teammate Bell, and Chase Elliott, and Hamlin just blows by him.
If Hamlin wins the race, that's the move. 2 for 1 in 1 lap. That would be the difference. He's going to need some help from the leaders, some racing out of the leaders to run him down.
As he goes down the backstretch, Ryan Blaney and Kyle Larson are into turn 4 now. They're in their own little battle. Again, Larson started on the front row, went back to 35th and has come back. Blaney started 20th and has gone to the lead. Look at this, Jeff. Yeah, awesome on the front stretch.
Caught Bell and Chase Elliott battling each other, took advantage of it.
This Blaney battle is going to be interesting because as they close in on Reddick, Reddick doesn't have much tire to run with, but, you know, he's got to hold out because of yellow. You want to be the leader.
And Hamlin, nothing but clean air. He is completely clean now.
Oh, there comes Reddick. That was Reddick peeling off to come to pit road. It's finally time for tires and fuel out of the 45 car. I like the gamble. We talk all the time about must-wins and what you're willing to do. Billy Scott proved, Dave, he was willing to gamble.
And Steve, what was so interesting to me, though, is that was from 5th position. He knew that was not a winning race car from there. He knew Tyler couldn't simply drive by the cars that were in front of him, so that was the move he made. Would you have thought similar at that time?
I thought it was a must-win showing up. I like the aggression. I think that's the mindset you have to have. That's what we're going to see at the top of the screen is that same aggression.
Michael Jordan watches his driver after leading. Come in late. It would have been an agonizing run down pit road for Tyler Reddick.
Now, the interesting thing is Reddick is going to try to blend out in front of this 12 car right here, or at least these new tires, to get back in front of the 12 because, look, I mean, anything can happen in these races. You want to just make sure you get on the lead lap.
You'll be able to watch this new tire.
Yeah, watch this.
Bye-bye.
That is how much better they are.
13 laps to go when Ryan Blaney crosses the line right there.
For Hamlin, I think the good is gone. There's just not enough left in those good years. 6 seconds back, too much time. But remember, Blaney and Larson, will they get racing? Will they slow each other down? Look at Larson off the top.
Well, you see the 12 has caught the 3 of Austin Dillon, and he has had trouble getting by him.
Look how close this is. 12.5 laps to go, they touch, and Brown goes Larson. Can he catch it? He cannot. Kyle Larson spins down in turn 3.
Got it back up here. Keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling. You're good, keep rolling.
I'm not sure he's going to lose a spot. He's going to bring out the yellow. He might lose a spot to the 11. We'll see where NASCAR lines them up. The 45, guys, could be in the driver's seat. He just left pit road. He's back in the lead lap. He can stay out. He's going to be the leader of the race with like 1 lap tires on. There's no doubt.
Tires.
Well, 1 lap here is something. So a little bit older tires. Everyone else will come to pit road.
Eyes wide open for Tyler Reddick in 23.11.
Wonder what the boss thought there. We saw Michael sitting on the wall.
Watch this right here. You see the 12 of Blaney trying to get by Austin Dillon. He tries to go underneath him. Larson sees the move, so he takes the top. They're so much faster because they're on new tires. He tries to split the middle and just loses the car. This is the type of move that Larson talked about. I'm too aggressive sometimes. It makes me go fast. but sometimes it's poor decisions. In my eyes, pushing the issue really hard here to win the race, which you want him to do, but in decent point position, not sure that's the move you want to make at this point.
How close did he come to saving it? There's the answer. He went for it, and unfortunately it didn't work. This is what it sounded like.
Still out there, still there.
You heard that, him modulating the throttle. So when he gets in trouble here, now he's on the gas, on the gas, on the gas, trying to keep the car from backing into the wall. But to Steve's point, the advantage is, look, he never quits going forward. He keeps his forward momentum. Hamlin was far enough behind him that he actually blended up right at the 11. So I don't know if he's going to be right behind. There you go. They've lined him up behind the 11.
Which I like that, because he was kind of driving back up to where he was going to be. He could have been on either side. But now it comes down to pit road, right? Blaney, Hamlin, Larson, Bell, Byron, Elliott, 1 through 6. Lined up. You have to come down pit road. You got to get 4 tires. Reddick will probably stay out 2 laps on his tires. That's a conversation for after the pit stops. Right now, it's pit crew time. Can a pit crew advance their driver? Can this be the pit stop that does it?
The pressure, the pit crew with the most pressure is the 11 team of Denny Hamlin. They have not been able to get it done. All of that goes away if you can make it happen right now. It is championship winning time. You win this race today, you go to Phoenix and you have an opportunity.
You see a little bit of a gap because of the lap car. So right here, you're going to see 11 pull off and accelerate. He has all the way to the yellow line to get close it as much as he can. Blaney has an advantage. He should be okay.
Stop of the day. The most critical stop of the day. Let's go.
Lee, a shot to win the championship now comes down to pit crews and a final restart for the drivers. Larson said I was a little bit too tight to fire off on that run. Meanwhile, Ryan Blaney, their strength all day long has been the long run, so they're going to have to make an adjustment here. Same for Christopher Bell. They've been strong on the long run. How will they do on the short run, Dave?
Denny Hamlin needs an adjustment for that too. Marty, I need to be freer. Good stop, 4 tires. He's out of there. Only 1 car in front of him.
Blaney, Hamlin, Elliott, and unfortunately Kyle Larson lost a ton of positions.
Give it up to the 11 team. Coming out second was the best they could do right there, unless the 12 team made a mistake. There was such a gap coming on pit road, Steve. You couldn't overcome that. Great job by this team.
And there's a good feeling. The morale is high right there. You can see it for Denny Hamlin's squad. They are still in this. They have a chance to lock themselves in to the championship 4 right here today.
So let's take a look at this 5's pit stop. Remember, he was the one that brought out the yellow, so I don't know if there was any damage repair. Let's just take a look. Stop's pretty decent. Right side's going on. Pretty clean on the right. We're going to come around on the left. Jack up, tires off. I couldn't tell what was happening back there. The jack dropped, but the driver didn't leave, so I don't know if someone was on the radio. It's hard to say. Pit time is 11.6, but that kind of goes from when the car accelerates. It looked like the jack dropped. There was something going on the left rear that I couldn't make out. So I don't know if I could put that on the pit crew. Maybe there was some communication, some repair that had to be done to a side, So, oh, the diffuser flap. So maybe we can watch the 5 spin again. Let's remember that what happens is there's a flap in the back of the car, in the diffuser. When you spin out and the roof flap comes up, it pulls the pin and it drops the diffuser flap. So the 5 car, they do their pit stop, but then a crew member has to go down and push that flap up and it latches itself. Let's just take a look right here. As the 5 spins around, when you watch this right side roof flap come up right there, that pulls the pin, that releases the diffuser flap. So the 5 of Larson had to come down and fix that flap back up. Maybe we take another look at their pit stop. When they drop the jack on the left side, watch back here. The back of the car is what we're looking for. So right sides are great. The crew goes around. Everything happens good. I'm guessing it's the tire changer that does it. Let's see who reaches around and snaps that flap back up. Right here.
Right.
Tire changer, slap. That's actually really good job to only lose 6. Great work. Marty.
Yes, Steve, Cliff Daniels apologized, actually said, hey, we would have had 0 downforce had we not done that. We had no choice. We had to do what we had to do. And now Larson will restart 10th with 9 to go as of right now.
10th, but only 4 points below the cut line with the 45 leading. So let's talk about the 45. He runs long on tires, hopes to get a yellow, comes down pit road, then the yellow comes out. Basically 2 laps on his tires. Most tracks, I would say he's as good as everyone else. This isn't most tracks. This is Miami. Look, oh, I didn't know where Hamlin would line up. Hamlin's going to line up behind the 45. Earlier in the race, there was 4 laps on the tires, and they drove by those cars like they were stopped. So I don't know how Reddick will restart, but if he's able to pull this off on 2-lap older tires, it's going to be a heroic performance.
And if you want the best of the best from today, you've got them all lined up alongside each other. Tyler Reddick has led 95 laps today. Chase Elliott has led 81. Ryan Blaney has led 46. And Denny Hamlin, 16. There's your first 4 guys.
Yeah, and all of them racing for an opportunity to win a championship on top of that. All right, so let's set the stage. If you're Reddick, 2-lap older tires, it matters. They do not make enough grip. So what does that mean? You have to surprise them. You got to leave the restart zone and have an advantage getting into turn 1. If you're Blaney on the bottom, you got to not let that happen. If you can enter side by side with Reddick, you should have an advantage. Now, what does Denny Hamlin do? I think he's got to try to make it 3 wide on the outside of Reddick.
Let's take a listen to the 9 of Chase Elliott.
All 4 of us are in the same boat on points, aren't we? We all pretty much need to win. Yes, sir. Nothing to lose. Go get it.
Go get it.
Let's go.
And that's everybody's mentality here, certainly in the top 4.
Be selfish.
Be selfish. No teammates. Go for it.
I mean, the crowd is on its feet. The place is packed. This is what they all came to see.
Do you want to go to the Championship 4 in Phoenix in 2 weeks' time? You have that opportunity right here, right now. Racing for a shot to be a Cup Series champion. Blaney's on the defense. Elliott goes on the inside, on the attack. Here comes Hamlin on his own driver.
Big advantage to Denny Hamlin right here.
Whoa, Hamlin on the high side. They're scrambling further back, but it's Denny in the lead. Blaney. Chase Elliott drives it down hard on that low side. Armendinger's getting swamped, but now everybody's chasing Hamlin. 7 laps to go, make it 6. Blaney, forceful on the inside. He wants a shot to defend his championship.
Hamlin's trying to stay on his right rear quarter panel. That's the only defense in that move. He's able to do it.
That slowed them both up, though, so here comes Chase Elliott.
Game on.
And how about Reddick on the older tires still in play?
He's following his boss up on that higher line. Ryan Blaney, who had come from 20th starting spot, he made really quick progress early in stage 1. And that Menards Ford has been at the front of this race all day.
If Denny Hamlin can pull this off over the next 5 laps, everyone will forget about the first 2 rounds. Forget about Atlanta. Forget about the poor performance.
And pit crew stepped up.
Hamlin hasn't been in the Championship 4 for 3 years. The 3-time Daytona 500 winner wants to be a Cup Series champion. And he can confirm that in 4 laps. He can confirm an opportunity to go to Phoenix in 4 laps. Larson still fighting, not giving up.
Every point might matter for that 5 car. He's right at the cut line with Martinsville next week.
Ryan Blaney is not giving up. Look at that 12 on the low line.
He's inching up closer and closer.
Yeah. Reddick still in touch. 3 to go.
Reddick, I think, is the wild card. I think the more laps they get on the tire, the older tires matter less. He's so good at the top.
That's what he loves doing.
That was a big run down the back straightaway. Blaney was fast on the bottom. He's going to go to the right to the middle of the racetrack.
Reddick ripping the boards. That's what he loves to do here.
Oh, advantage Reddick right here. Reddick with a run. Can he get to the back bumper of Blaney? 2 to go.
3 miles is going to determine somebody's championship picture.
Oh, big run in the middle of the corner by Blaney.
Look at this! Down the back straight. JGR versus Team Penske. Blaney versus Hamlin. And Blaney's got his nose in front. The champ wants a chance to defend. 1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank. Less than 1.5 miles from here. Now Reddick on the low side.
Hamlin goes to the top. He's looking for the huge run down the backstretch, but can Reddick do it from the bottom?
This championship this year has given us some of the most incredible closing moments. You pick this one. Blaney, Reddick, or Hamlin. Reddick is not done with yet. Tyler Reddick just drives all the way around Ryan Blaney. Can you believe what you've just seen? Reddick's going to Phoenix. Tyler Reddick wins the Straight Talk 400 in the most incredible way. He loves ripping the boards. He just ripped them apart. Right around the outside to victory lane. Tyler Reddick ended on his roof last week in Vegas. This week, he delivers Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin and 2311 a championship berth. Yeah, Billy! 2 weeks ago in Charlotte, he had the back of the car airborne and fought as hard as he could fight to make it to the round of 8. Last week, he rolled down the front stretch. And this week, fellas, he's in victory lane. The boss is happy. Fellas, it's the gift that just keeps on giving this year. Incredible.
That's one of the most magical final laps driven I have seen in quite some time. That route move by Tyler Reddick. I feel crushed for Ryan Blaney. I'm not sure he did anything wrong. Reddick was just amazing.
Blaney, if he wins that race, he's moving on to Phoenix. Instead, he'll leave this race 38 points behind. Pretty much a must-win next week.
He'll relive that last half mile time and time again, but I just believe he did everything he could.
It's a difficult spot, right? Because you never want to give the Reddick the top of the racetrack, but at the same time, if he didn't feel comfortable with his car to go to the top of the racetrack, then he felt like Reddick was just going to drive underneath him. Dave.
Michael, what kind of a Game 7 moment was that from your driver?
Actually, everybody. I mean, Billy made a call, and it looked kind of I was a little scared because we were going to run out of gas, but we knew we needed a caution at the end, and anything can happen after that, man. And as you can see, Denny was up there, and little kid drove his ass off. I'm proud of him.
What do you think that final lap?
Oh, man, he just let go. He just went for it, and I'm glad. We needed it. We needed it.
And you got it. Michael Jordan going to the championship 4 with a chance to win it, Marty.
Dave, after he was upside down last weekend at Las Vegas, Tyler Reddick told me I was too aggressive. Billy Scott talked to him this week and he said, no, you weren't. Do not lose that aggressive nature. And with one of the most aggressive passes in NASCAR history, Tyler Reddick earns a shot at a championship in 2024. He's gonna go find that pit crew.
Let's go!
The regular season champion will race for a title, taking a seat in the championship 4 in 2 weeks. And I'm sure there's one co-owner who wants to give his driver a hug. So Tyler, I saw you pull it off. How did you pull it off?
I don't know. We're back in the corner, man. We had nothing else. We had no other choice. I know we were on a tire deficit, and here at Homestead, that's a death sentence, but I don't care. We did what it took to win this race. We're fighting for a championship.
What was your thought process going into turn 3?
Yeah, baby! Yes! Good job, kid. Man, good job.
He said he was so proud of you for the way you drove. What was your thought process going into 3? Did you think there was any way to pull that move off? Sunbow.
I couldn't believe it. I just knew I needed to get to, even with him on his right side door, I didn't care what he did, but he raced me clean. I appreciate it, but just really, really excited that we're going to get to have a shot at this championship.
Yeah, what would it mean to bring a NASCAR championship to the man who just hugged you, Michael Jordan?
It'd mean the world. We thankfully can take off from Martinsville a little bit and get ready for Phoenix, but we're pumped.
Boy, it looked like it was over for Tyler Reddick at one point in that last little run, but a caution came at the right time. Now they're going to race for a championship, Lee.
Everybody's saying, how did you do that? He did it with skill and guts. And the 23-11 team are overjoyed. There's his teammate, Bubba Wallace. He had the boss, MJ, there. Fellas, this was epic.
It doesn't even look real. Blaney gives the 45 the top. He looks like he's going to hit the fence. So much speed. Rips the fence in 3 and 4, clears the 12.
Billy Scott, crew chief, with a great call, put it in Tyler Reddick's hands, and Tyler Reddick took this race.
Michael Jordan almost didn't have words.
He
had
didn't.
the goat, almost speechless.
3 different drivers led the last 3 laps, but it was Tyler Reddick, 23-11 Racing, who drove it hard all the way to victory lane in spectacular style. It's time for the NASCAR America post-race show, and it's presented by Progressive. Oh boy, the scenes here at Homestead-Miami Speedway after that incredible finish and victory. Tyler Reddick gets his name in yellow. That means he's locked into the championship 4 in Phoenix.
And with the points leave closer than they came in, Jeff, right? Because I think Larson and Hamlin, I think 18 points is possible at Martinsville for sure. And now for Blaney and Elliott, I'm thinking must win.
William Byron had a pretty solid day. We thought that would be okay, but he goes to Martinsville with some serious pressure on him.
What about the day for Kyle Larson? Comeback, then that late spin, what could have been, and now he's got to really, him and Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott. It's going to be tough in Martinsville next weekend, and spare a thought for Ryan Blaney. He could very well have won that race, and Cam Coon, he fought hard all day from 20th grid spot.
And Ryan Blaney comes up 1 spot short from locking himself into the championship 4. I saw you get out of the car shaking your head. It seems like disbelief. What are you feeling in this moment?
Well, it's obvious disappointment. I mean, yeah, had a great shot to win. I didn't have a very good last lap. Man, I thought I got into 3 hard, and the 45 just blitzed it up in there, and it stuck for him, which was pretty impressive. But, yeah, I hate to give one away there like that. You know, I don't know if we gave it away. I mean, we got the lead back after losing it on the restart, and yeah, just last lap didn't really play out for us. So yeah, it definitely stinks. I appreciate everybody on the 12 team for bringing a really fast race car. Had a great shot to go to Phoenix, and still got one more chance. So we still got to look forward to that. But appreciate Menards and Ford Performance, Richmond, Advanced Auto Parts, Body Armor, Dex Imaging, Wabash, the Worth Group, everybody. Just yeah, it's a shame. I'll be picking through it all night. What I should have done different probably, and that's just the way it goes, but overall really proud of the effort, and hopefully we can bring it to them next week.
I know there's disappointment right now, but you mentioned next week multiple times. You guys won last year to get into the championship 4 at Martinsville, so is it optimistic at this point, or you're gonna have to sort through these feelings first?
Well, yeah, I mean, it'll suck for the night, and then we'll look forward to Martinsville, tomorrow morning. So we try to forget things quick. I've tried to do that more and more as I've gotten older and just kind of move on to the next thing, good, bad, or indifferent, and focus on the next task. So this team will do it. But yeah, I just can't say how proud I am of them coming in and understanding what we needed to do. It's just a shame it didn't work out. But yeah, like you said, we had good fortune in Martinsville last year, and hopefully we can bring the same kind of speed and be in contention to win.
Well, when Denny Hamlin was asked to deliver on the final restart, he did. Sorry, breaking it down with Chris Gabehart right there, shaking your head. What more could you do?
Well, I'm not really sure. I tried to cover all lanes, but just couldn't quite get off the corner as good as I needed to there on that short run. And short run wasn't my specialty all day, obviously. But either way, controlling the race, 2 to go, you got to try to find a way to finish it, and it just didn't.
How has that become your MO? Just good on old tires, love running them down with better tires, but you were so good on the long run.
Yeah, I want to be faster on the shorter run, but it's just, a lot of it is what we build into the car and things like that. But Chris gave me everything I needed there to try to race him, just didn't get it done.
You're really good here. You're really good next week at that track as well, Denny. What do you look forward to most about Martinsville?
Yeah, it's another opportunity, and certainly you're not out of it till they throw the checker flag at Martinsville.
One more chance for Denny next week.
And it just gets reinforced how much this means. The elation from this side of the camp and the devastation from Ryan Blaney and Denny Hamlin.
These playoffs, they're brutal. And one guy leaves here feeling great. Other guys, there's optimism, but also a lot of fear. You think about the 5-car Larson, 7 points behind. Denny Hamlin, 18 points. The 20 with 29 points, that's not safe going to Martinsville. So as good as this year has been, I can't imagine going into next week.
Take a look at this graphic in the bottom left, just to see the top 5 last lap times. How about that from Reddick?
So that's why the emotion for me, why my heart bleeds for the ones that fell short, because Jeff, you and I have been on that side, and it is excruciating. What I appreciate most is I don't feel like they fell short. I feel like Tyler Reddick stepped up, and that makes it so much more enjoyable for me as a race fan. Is what we saw here today I thought was something special out of an athlete. It wasn't somebody else's mistake that led to advancement. It was Reddick who drove into turn 3 and took a playoff spot away. That, I think, can be celebrated and should be celebrated.
Well, that's why the despair from Blaney and Hamlin.
Right.
Because they want that moment. They both believe in themselves. Give me that moment, I will execute, and neither were able to get it done.
And how about this 45? I feel like they've embodied their team owner mentality. The guy that wanted the ball, that's how Billy Scott is calling the races. That is how Tyler Reddick, when he lost those spots on the restart, he should have been in trouble, yet here he came.
I want to revisit the last 3 weekends, today included. Charlotte 2 weeks ago, Reddick had the rear of the car airborne and hit everything that he could possibly hit, but got into the round of 8. Last week in Vegas, he won the first stage and then ended up barrel rolling down the front straight. Today, he goes to the championship 4 for the first time in his Cup career.
This year has been about never quitting, never giving up, keep bringing fight every single week.
And aggression. People didn't like the move when it didn't work last week. Well, that's the move that won the race this week.
As Michael Jordan said, the kid drove well. He did great. A reminder that NASCAR and motorsports coverage is always available on NBCSports.com. Coming up next here on NBC, local news except on the West Coast. Later, 7 p.m. Eastern, football night in America, followed by Cowboys 49ers. This is Lee Diffie saying thanks for watching NASCAR on